but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there. You can feel it.
Get up on out the bed and start to move your balls and pick up a word in Solomon Jones. You better wake up now.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Wake Up with Word. Well, Kawesa, I was trying to perform plastic surgery on myself today.
Oh, no. Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Cut myself shaving.
No.
Cut myself shaving. That's say I'm going to reshape my chin, and didn't work out. So,
I'm sorry.
It's one of those days. One of those days. And it's a brand new razor. But, you know, I decided a while ago, I was using the razors that have like they're like titanium, and they got 4 blades on one side, and then they got the titanium blade on the other side for trimming. I said, man, let me go get some Vicks and stop playing. You know what I mean? Let me go get the little cheap Jones, because they do the same thing. So, but today I gambled and lost.
I'm sorry.
I did. I gambled and lost today, and so yeah, that happened. But it's gonna be okay because we got a whole lot of things also to celebrate. My wife's birthday is tomorrow, so happy birthday, Levita, in advance. And she getting older and getting better. Lord have mercy. But we appreciate her. So, but on the national stage, President Biden is going to meet with Stacey Abrams in Atlanta today, according to an administration official who said Abrams has played a leading role in voting access and voter protection, and she'll be an important partner in taking action on this important issue moving forward. Abrams, of course, widely seen as a star in the Democratic Party, having come off her 2018 gubernatorial loss to found the voter outreach organization Fair Fight. In 2019, she became the first Black woman to deliver the official Democratic response to a State of the Union address, and she was among the candidates considered as a potential running mate for Biden, according to CNN. Now she's fighting an even tougher battle as Republican state lawmakers in Georgia and across the country openly engage in voter suppression in an effort to stop Black people from voting. The Trump loss in Georgia and the election of 2 Democratic senators in Georgia is largely due to the efforts of Stacey Abrams. And if Democrats are going to win again, not only in Georgia, but nationally, they're going to need Stacey Abrams. And you know what? Black folks are going to need Stacey Abrams, too. We got a hot show for you today on Wake Up with Word. Activist Reverend Sharon Risher, who lost her mother and cousins in a mass shootings at Mother Emanuel Church, joins us to talk about new gun legislation and more. Taylor Allen of Plan Philly on the plight of Philly small landlords and the mixed income housing bonus. Financial consultant Akbar Hassan has your money advice. And as always, we've got you, our listeners, calling in at 215-634-8065, a toll-free 1-866-361-0900. Hit us on Twitter and Instagram at onWURD, or you can hit me personally at Solomon Jones 1. Hit us on Facebook at forward. But first, it's the big 3, the news stories you need to know to kick off your day right here on Wake Up with Word. Story number 1, the country may be on the cusp of yet another COVID-19 case surge, one expert says, but the mass vaccination of the most vulnerable Americans is likely to limit the number of deaths. I think we're going to see a surge in the number of infections, emergency physician Dr. Leanna Wen told CNN on Wednesday night. I think what helps this time, though, is that the most vulnerable, particularly nursing home residents, people who are older, are now vaccinated, and so we may prevent a spike in hospitalizations and deaths. Health officials have repeatedly warned about a potential 4th surge as state leaders eased restrictions and several lifted mask mandates. The first warning sign came when case numbers, after weeks of steep declines, appeared to level off, with the country still averaging tens of thousands of new cases daily. That kind of plateau previously predicted surges, some experts have said. Cases of the worrying variants, notably the highly contagious B117 variant, have also come and are set to become the dominant strain by the end of March or early April. Meanwhile, governors and local leaders have eased restrictions on indoor gatherings, citing fewer COVID-19 cases and more vaccinations. And spring break crowds are gathering in Florida, and nationwide air travel numbers are hitting pandemic-era records. And all this is happening. And Senator Rand Paul, who is a doctor, is arguing with Dr. Fauci about masks. See, this is the kind of stuff like willful ignorance. Like, you know the science because you are a scientist, right? But because you are a Republican, or at least caucus with the Republicans, he's really a libertarian, you know, you want to argue about the effectiveness of masks. You know that the masks are effective. You know that 500,000 some people are dead because y'all encourage people not to wear masks. Why are you arguing about that? Meanwhile, we're on the cusp of another surge, right? Where more people are going to get the virus because people are running around acting like this thing is not real, like it's gone, like it's disappeared, and it has not. You know, and on top of that, you got people in his party saying that they're not going to get vaccinated. White men, Republicans, they're the ones who are now saying, nah, we're not going to get vaccinated. And, you know, I mean, it's your choice. You do what you want. But y'all are spreading this thing. And that, Kawesa, is the problem.
Yeah, it's a major problem. I mean, I still, like, I don't understand how you can sit there and tell people not to wear masks like, you know, this has magically disappeared and gone away. Right. From a logical standpoint, it makes absolutely no sense to me. And that's why I got to look at some of these folks sideways, because I'm like, you don't have any type of rationality. You can't rationalize with people who are like this. So you know what?
No.
I can't rationalize with you, so stay the hell out my way. Don't cough on me. Don't be anywhere near me, because if you get me sick or you get my family members sick, we're going to have a whole bunch of problems. You know, so, I mean, it's ridiculous. It should not be like this, and yet it is, because you have people out here who are just, like you said, willfully ignorant.
So here's a story that happened that people have been kind of talking about. So there's a black woman, right? She's the president and founder of the Connecticut Parents Union. She says she was recently denied a withdrawal of just over $1,000 from a business account she holds at TD Bank because a teller at a branch of the bank in Southington, Connecticut, simply decided she wasn't going to give it to her. Gwen Samuel spoke to Fox 61 News about the experience that happened earlier this week, which she understandably describes as being humiliating, especially since she's been a customer of the bank for 16 years. Here's the story she told. I go inside. I had my TD Bank card and my license. They were cordial. I'm not even going to say they were rude. But then she said she had to wait several minutes. And I see her over there, and I was like, oh, she looks like she's going through my account. Okay, maybe that's just the policy. The teller came back and shocked her. She hands me my license, and she says, I don't feel comfortable giving you the money. Samuel says she was attempting to withdraw just over $1,000 to pay a vendor of CPU, the organization of which she is the president and founder. Samuel ended up having to leave the bank, withdraw some of the money from the ATM outside, which she was able to do. So she then went to another branch of the bank where she said the employees there helped her withdraw the money she needed. TD Bank issued a statement to HuffPost suggesting that, quote, security concerns are why the first bank teller refused the black customer the withdrawal with no explanation other than she wasn't comfortable doing so. Wait a minute. So here's what happens, right? So a black woman goes into a bank. It sounds like the start of a joke, but it's not. It's real. And it's not even like she was trying to take out $100,000. It's $1,000, right? Those of us who pay a mortgage or rent or, you know, something like that, that's one bill. That's not, you know, so it's not like it's six figures. It's $1,000, and she's like, no, I don't feel comfortable giving it to you. I don't feel comfortable giving you your own money. This is how racism works. You have people who are basically in service jobs. That's a service job. Your job is to serve the public, and all work is honorable. I'm not, trying to, say anything bad about the job, but your job is to serve me. That's your job. And you going to discriminate against me? But that's what they do. Taxi drivers, waitresses, bank tellers, like you go down the list. These are the people who feel like they are the guardians of white supremacy. And that is the problem. Kuwaisa, it is terrible. It's awful.
Yeah, it is. It is terrible. Like, she didn't feel comfortable because she was black.
Yep.
That's what it was. You know,
Yep.
that's the end of discussion, period.
Yep.
Point blank, period. That's why she felt uncomfortable. But I'm sorry, like, if I go up in there, you see my face, you see my TD card, and you see my license, run me my money.
That's right. I don't care if I'm green.
I don't care. I do not care. Run me my money. I gave you all of the information that you need to give it to me. And on top of that, it's my money. Why are you holding it hostage? Like, no. You know, so, you know, in TD Bank, when they first came out, they were like, oh, you know, well, they're trying to back the teller almost. Like, what? No.
Yeah, yeah.
How dare you do that?
Yeah.
I don't bank with them. I know people who do, so I might have to be like, hey, you know,
Yeah.
maybe you should take out your money.
Yep.
But no, just ridiculous. No, we know she was uncomfortable because she was black.
That's what it was, and the teller needs to be fired. We got to follow up on that story and find out what happens to the teller. I'm guessing nothing. Which brings me to story number 3. The big story, of course, we've been talking about over the last few days is what happened in Atlanta in a series of Asian spas where 6 Asian women and 2 others were killed. And you know, I've thought a lot about it. I've listened to what our callers have had to say and thought about, you know, many of our experiences. And, you know, I've learned a lot about racism in the last 4 years. That's why when that white man killed 6 Asian women and 2 others in what looks like a hate crime, I wasn't surprised. I'd watched former president blame China for the virus that's killed over 500,000 Americans. He gave it names like the China flu and the China virus and Kung flu. I saw his followers adopt that language, and as businesses closed and jobs disappeared, some sought to blame Asians, and violence against them increased. There were 3,800 anti-Asian hate incidents in the year since the pandemic began. And this is not the first time Asians have been targeted in America. The Chinese Exclusion Act sought to keep them from immigrating to the U.S., and Japanese Americans were held in prison camps during World War II. Just as those things were wrong, the current targeting of Asians is wrong. Now, as always, there's this expectation that black people should come to the aid of any group facing discrimination because we understand racism better than anyone. But that's complicated because some of us have anti-Asian bias, and sometimes blacks are discriminated against by Asians. Blacks watched as Asians works with white conservatives in a bid to dismantle affirmative action at Harvard. We watched Asian hair suppliers systematically freeze black people out of the black hair care industry. We're sometimes insulted, demeaned, and even followed while shopping in Asian stores. Thank God that's not universal. Many Asian business people treat their black customers with respect. But maybe this is a moment for blacks and Asians to check our own racial tensions. And as we mourn those we've lost, we can finally look at each other honestly and trying to figure out some common ground. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio and let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning's show. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. You know, a little later on in the show, we're going to talk with Reverend Sharon Risher. We've talked with her many times. She lost her mother and her cousins in a mass shooting that was racially motivated at Mother Emanuel in South Carolina. It was a shooting much like this one, only it all happened in one place. And the country was aghast, right? It took that for the governor at the time, Nikki Haley, to take the Confederate flag down off of the Capitol Dome in South Carolina. People talked about racism for days, but, you know, the interesting thing was in that shooting, the shooter, Dylan Roof, was found in North Carolina. He had driven a state away. and they put on a bulletproof vest to protect him, right? And then they took him to Burger King because they said he might be hungry. These are the cops. After he's murdered, you know, all of these black people in this church. And so, you know, we look at the response to this and we see that, you know, people are aghast as they should be. People are concerned as they should be. And people are looking at us like, yo, y'all need to understand better than everybody, and you need to be allies. But here's the thing. I think that in order for that to happen in the way that it should, we need to be allies all the time. Right? It can't just be when something happens. And so, you know, that is based on relationship. And there are some strains, but again, I am so glad. I really am. I'm glad that I have gotten to know people as individuals, and not by the color of their skin, not by their ethnicity, not by where they come from, not by their heritage, but as individuals. I'm glad I've gotten the chance to do that in my life. Otherwise, I might be one of the people out here like, nah, well, we ain't going, you know, because I know that nobody in any race or ethnicity, they're not all the same. But we have to have some frank conversations, I think, about some of the tensions between people of color, right? That's one of the blanket phrases that is kind of, you know, made black people feel uncomfortable because, you know, while others have faced discrimination, nobody else in this country has been, you know, enslaved by the millions. And so our experiences are different. We don't have the same burdens, right? We don't deal with the same things. We haven't dealt with it on the same level, you know, for hundreds of years. We just haven't. And so, you know, when you try to lump us all in together, well, it's not, you know, it's not true. We're not all lumped in together. We don't all have the same experience. And no, I don't understand everybody else's experience. You know, I'd like to, but I don't, because I have not lived it. And they haven't lived ours. And so we have to start with that basic truth and then move from there. But I do believe, and I believe this in my core, that if you allow other people to be targeted and you say nothing, you next. And so we have to grapple with that. I think we have to deal with that. And I think we have to be honest about that in order for us to move forward. One of the things that I've seen in the protests that I've been to is I've seen a little bit of everybody. I've seen Asians, I've seen whites, I've seen Latinos, you know, who have come out and said, you know, Black Lives Matter. I appreciate that. But still, there are some tensions. And they have to be talked about, and they have to be talked about honestly in order for us to move forward. It's just like, you know, if I have an argument with my wife, guess what? Eventually, we're going to have to sit down and talk about the source of the tension, be honest about it, own it, apologize for it, change some behaviors, and move on. Otherwise, guess what happens? The same argument happens for years. So that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to talk about it on the other side of this break. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
We do all we can to ensure our kids are happy, healthy, safe, and strong. Having high-quality, low-cost health insurance helps make that possible. With CHIP, your child can have medical, dental, eye care, and more for free or low cost. Whether you're self-employed, unemployed, or your employee benefits are just too expensive, CHIP is there for you to help your child be strong. CHIP Strong. Apply or renew today at 800-986-KIDS or go to chipcoverspakids.com.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars. Small business owners are navigating an evolving small business landscape brought on by coronavirus. However, their resilience is reflected in Bank of America's 2020 Small Business Owner Report. A nationwide survey on 1,000 small business owners, which found that nearly 1/4 of small business owners took steps in 2020 to retool their offerings and or leverage their resources to support relief efforts in their communities. While many saw an impact in their bottom line last year, small business owners anticipate a strong post-pandemic environment, and 79% believe small businesses will return to be the backbone of the U.S. economy. Inspired by the small business owners facing unprecedented challenges, Bank of America continues their commitment to help small business owners in Philadelphia with the necessary resources to sustain and grow. For more information, visit bankofamerica.com.
If you haven't had the privilege to use ACAP's products, treat yourself. We made it easy for you to shop for good quality essential products with the help of local businesses such as cultural stores, convenience stores, gas stations, and local supermarkets. ACAP's, servicing the community since 1969.
Clark Roofing Company has over 30 years of quality roofing experience, providing exceptional customer service, honesty, and professionalism. Clark Roofing is a second-generation master roofer, installing top-quality roofing systems for commercial and residential properties across the tri-state area. For fast, dependable service, call 215-365-ROOF. That's 215-365-7663.
I would like to play a little tune I just composed not so long ago.
Hey family, do you like hearing the best jazz selections aired by 3 of the best jazz announcers in Philadelphia? Well, tune in to 96.1 FM,
96.1 FM,
and 900 AM, WURD Radio, independent black media, for Freedom Sounds of Jazz.
Freedom Sounds of Jazz.
Hear Freedom Sounds of Jazz 10 p.m. Fridays with your hosts in rotation, Aquila, Jonathan Bay, and David Fritz. That's 10 p.m. Friday nights on WURD 96.1 FM and 900 AM independent black media.
Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by LifeLock Identity Theft Protection. Looking at the delays we have on the Schuylkill Expressway, eastbound Montgomery through Spring Garden, westbound side, not a bad ride through the area. Westbound Vine delays 8th out through Broad. Southbound Boulevard getting busy from Broad down to Fox through construction. Southbound 95 jam Cotman through Bridge. Again, south of Betsy Ross through Girard. We have a jam on the Walt Whitman Bridge eastbound heading into New Jersey, all because of construction setup. So watch for crews and delays there heading into New Jersey. Ben Franklin Bridge, that is looking good this morning. Tax season can be a big headache if identity thieves steal personal info from your tax forms. LifeLock helps protect, monitor, and restore your identity. No one can monitor all transactions at all businesses, but you can save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com, promo code RISK. For more traffic information, log on to SigAlert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a WURD weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Cold, gusty winds drying us out this morning with mostly cloudy skies. Those winds gusting 35 to 40 miles an hour this morning, making it feel like it's in the 20s. We'll see the temperature warm to near 40 at lunchtime as the sun comes out. The wind will subside this afternoon. A high of 46, though, will still feel like it's in the low 40s later today. Clear and cold tonight, 29 degrees. Tomorrow, spring begins first thing in the morning with sunshine, a high of 57 on Saturday. Lots of sunshine and a bit warmer on Sunday. After a morning low of 34, 62 the high. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Back by popular demand. It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. And I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. And we want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. And let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show. I'm still tripping off the black woman couldn't get $1,000 out of the bank. She's been banking there for 16 years. I'm still tripping off that, Kwesa.
Yeah.
You know, $1,000? Like she was in there trying to get, $500,000 or something. This is $1,000, man. Get a woman of money.
Right.
That's
a bill. Like, I don't understand.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't understand how, and the thing is like, so, back in the day, I've had a lot of different jobs, but, one of the things that I used to do was that I process, death claims. And so, they would give them checks to write. And if the amount on the check was too much, then they might, flag it or something like that.
Right.
But not for such a low amount of money.
No.
Like, I'm sitting there, I'm just like, what? Like, huh? That shouldn't be the case at all. And she had everything that she needed. It's because she was black.
Yeah, it was because she was black. And here's my thing. The story kind of doesn't make sense to me because, okay, once the teller does that, okay, fine. I need to speak to the manager. I need to speak to the manager right now. You know what I mean? I'm not going to the ATM because a teller told me I can't get my money. No, I need the manager to tell me I can't get my money. And I need everybody's name. You know what I mean? And especially if you're somebody who's running an organization, I'm immediately, look, they give me a problem at McDonald's. I need to see the manager. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I need to know if this is indeed the policy, right? Or if you are just doing this to me. I need to know that. But, this is the kind of stuff that people do, man, and it's not like they have the right to do it. It just reminds me of just all of this stuff. Like the lady talking about, I'm going to call the cops because you asked me to put my dog on a leash in the park where that's the rule, but, the rule don't apply to me. I'm Karen. Come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, just all of it. This is the same thing. I'm going to deny you your respect as a customer because you're black. I'd have called the manager immediately, man. I'm not going outside till I talk to somebody in charge. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That's the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. Malik from Mount Airy is on line one. Go ahead, Malik.
Good morning, Solomon. Good morning, Kwesa. And good morning, Word family. What happened to that lady is kind of it's a systematic thing because, like you just said, you want me to believe if that's the policy, then I want the manager to tell me that. I want the general manager to tell me that, and I want it in writing.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, you're not telling me that $1,000, like you said, I can see if she asked for $10,000, $50,000,
right,
$100,000 in cash. $1,000 is pretty. That's less than the stimulus check. So if she was cashing a stimulus check right there, you told me she couldn't cash a stimulus check, even though she's been banking there for 16 years.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: if I'm asking for $1,000, I probably got a lot more than that in that account, and you know it. You just looked at it. You took my information. You looked at it, and you said we need to have those tough conversations. What I've learned with those tough conversations. It's not the person that's willing to have that conversation you need to have the conversation with. It's the person that's been following you that won't say anything while they're following you around the store. That's the person you need to, what am I doing or what have I done to you to feel that you need to follow me? That's the person you need to have a conversation with. And you know and I know they're not going to have that conversation. They'll cuss, they'll call the cops, they'll get out my store.
Yeah.
But you're not going to have that tough conversation. And that's part of the problem. That's the disconnect where I understand understand on both sides where, yes, we all in the same struggle. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that's going to say, you know what, man, you know, and I'm just using this specifically, Miss Kim keep following me when I go in her store, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I need to talk to you. What am I doing? What is it about me that you don't trust, that you need to follow me? I'm in here trying to spend honest, hard-earned dollars in your store to patronize your store because it's the only store I have maybe in 2-mile radius that I don't want to go, you know, further than I have to get what I need. That's the problem where until we have those conversations, because it's not the person that's saying, you know, that's out there, like you said, protesting with me that I need to have that conversation with. Because we can have a conversation and they're going to say, I don't know. But it's the person that won't have a conversation that you need to have those conversations with. It's the person that right now that's listening to this show that hates Asians. Those are the two people y'all need to get together. And what is it about me that you don't like? What is it about you I don't like? And we need to come to a common ground if that's what we're going to do and solve this problem. Because it's not going to change with you and I to have an open mind about the situation. It's the closed-minded people that just say blacks are bad or Asians are bad. Those are the people we need to get together in a room and say, let me know what your differences are, and we can obviously see that we can get to a common ground. So I thank y'all. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Malik. Thank you, man, because I think you hit the nail on the head. It's very well said. You know, when you said Miss Kim, it made me think about two Miss Kims. One has a fish store in Logan on Old York Road. And I used to go there all the time, man, get my my fish sandwiches, my chicken wings. The food was very good. And she was just a sweetheart. You know, she employed some people, my in-laws, she employed some of them, and just was somebody who just was always, you know, treated the customers with respect, and was very pleasant. Then there was another Miss Kim, both of them obviously Korean. Kim is a Korean name. She had a store on Germantown Avenue across from the congressional office when I worked for Congressman Fatah. I used to go there in there all the time, and of course I wore suits to work. She used to call me best dressed, right? So one day I went in there and I was trying to get some tea or something, and I don't know what it was. I think I had my card and I wasn't spending enough, and I'm like, man, I come in here every day, so I stopped going. So she told my coworker, and my coworker at the time was Cindy Bass. She told Cindy, she said, look, tell him to come over here, and, you know, I'll, you know, give him, you know, whatever he wants. She bought one of my books and, you know, apologize, whatever, because I think it was somebody else that did it. It wasn't her. But, you know, that's, you have to interact with people respectfully. And, you know, I respected both of them, man. And when you said that name, it made me think back to those two people. And, you know, so everybody's not the same. Everybody's not the same, but you know, you have to interact with people in order to know that. Let's talk to Olanian from Nicetown on line 2. Go ahead, Olanian.
Good morning. I'm going to get to my point and skip what I want to talk about because there's so many things I want to say today about people following you around stores and stuff. I've been followed so many times. People gave me the nickname Burglar Earl. Anyway, I want to turn the subject to something that I learned of yesterday. I'm sure that you can Google to find out about Dr. Lin Yang. She's a woman who I assume was born in China, and she is a doctor of medicine, not health medicine, but medicine for community and community diseases. Yeah. She claims that China actually intentionally made the virus that's going around killing people, and that China set it out to do that, to hurt people. Going further, there's a sister named Nick Command, that's her last name. She was Teen Vogue magazine's editor. She resigned, and she's a black sister. She's a black woman. She resigned because of her previous anti-Asian messages that she made, and messages she also made about homosexuals.
Yep.
So my point for making this is that it's not such an easy, cut-dry situation. Yeah. There are people on both sides, and some of them are Asian or Chinese, and some are black.
No, I agree. I agree. And I think that's why you have to have, real conversation. You'll be on the surface and be like, and I want to thank you for your call, Olanian. And be like, oh, we just need to all come together. Oh, hold up, there's history. Hold up, there's issues. Hold up, there's racism. Like, there's all of that. There's what y'all just did. So there have to be real conversations. And not just y'all need to stand up for us because y'all know what racism is like. And that's real. And it's hard for people to do that and this is how racism thrives. It's hard for people to do that if they've never had any kind of real interaction or relationship with the person on the other side. Right? If you've never had that, then it's hard to do that because all you know is the stereotype. All you know is what you see on the news. All you know is what you've seen on television. You don't really know these people. You just know what you think they are in your mind. Zaire from South Philly is on line 3. Go ahead, Zaire.
Good morning, Solomon, and good morning to the audience in Croatia. And I appreciate this platform that you have this morning because I understand one thing, that people are going to be people. And without the interacting, you can be prejudiced.
Yep.
Because you were talking about Miss Kim. We had a Miss Kim in South Philly. Mm-hmm. And that lady could cook. She was Korean, and she brought you in her store, and she let you know she was there to serve you, but she wasn't going to take no gangster stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she cooked graciously, and I appreciate what you were saying about the interacting that you had with the Miss Kim in your area, because you boiled it down to the point. Interaction is important with respect as human beings, because they have racism in the Asian community. The Japanese don't like the Chinese, and the Koreans can't stand the Japanese or the Chinese. So, I mean, it's the issue in every culture. Where people have differences and they label people that they don't like as the problem and treat them as if they are the problem. So it's back to communicating and coming together and talking about the real issues, human beings living together. So, I mean, we here. But I wanted to ask you, not changing the subject, my concern was, have you heard about the $100 million that the Bank of America is putting into Philadelphia?
We need to ask Drew. We need to ask Drew about that. I think I did hear something about that, but yeah, we need to ask Drew Gardner about that. He's on the show every week.
Part of Philadelphia, they are investing $100 million or $1 billion over a certain number of years. They say into Philadelphia to help the less fortunate. So my concern is, like you always say, just follow the money.
Yeah, who gets the money?
That money's going to get to the less fortunate, and for what? And to how, what extent is it going to profit them?
I hear you, man. We'll ask Drew about it and find out exactly, what that is and how regular people can get access to it. That's for me, when you talk about we're investing in your community, who's getting the money? That's always the question, and it's a real simple bottom line question. If the answer is complicated, it's probably not the right answer. Let's go to break. On the other side, we're going to continue the show. Brother Hurt from North Philly's on the other side. If you want to get in, it's 215-634-8065. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Just one more step. You got it.
You're doing great. This is the sound of a nationally ranked top rehabilitation hospital, home to the largest collection of robotics in the United States, where we continually exceed patient expectations, because no injury is too severe or too minor for our care.
There you go.
This is the sound of success. Moss Rehab. Challenge accepted.
Hello, entrepreneurs, especially if you're in the food delivery space. CBD is one of the fastest growing health and wellness categories out today. And as it is now legal, you can expand your customer base and increase revenues per ticket by using this as a specialty food offering. CBDmealsdelivered.com is now for sale, and it would be a perfect website to integrate with your existing food delivery website. Thank you.
Hi, it's me, Gia Peppers. Tune into More Than That with me live this weekend or catch the show wherever you listen to podcasts. This week, I'm talking to Kenya Barris, creator of Blackish and co-writer of the new Coming to America, as well as Judge Lynn Toler, television icon, author, and advocate. More Than That is brought to you by Bounty, Charmin, and Puffs. Visit png.com for more on their commitment to positive change. I wanted to talk to you about how you grew up. What was your actual family structure like?
For the most part, growing up I felt like a very common Black experience. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we weren't rich. I don't think we were destitute in any way. But like the community, we all had the same. And I didn't really realize how much we didn't have until we moved and into a more integrated community. When I was like, oh, people's knives and forks match, you know what I'm saying? And like plates match, you know, like, little things like that I see. But I was constantly surrounded, what I felt like, with definitely turmoil between my parents when they were divorcing and things like that. But in general, I felt a lot of love in my community. You know, I felt a lot of love in my family.
My mother was an emotional genius. She can go in a room and not say anything, and she could tell you where everybody is emotionally when you leave. And she taught me specifically, running your emotions is something you need to do as an independent study. And she taught me how to feel in a manner that did not allow my own instability and the instability of my environment to send me in a direction that I could have flown off the world. I just could have. And she was so intuitive that it didn't happen. And she raised my sister, who is very calm and assured and all that, completely differently. Everything she told me, she told Kathy the opposite, because she knew who her girls were.
Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by LifeLock Identity Theft Protection. Looking at delays, we have southbound 95 jammed up Cotman down through Bridge. Again, Betsy Ross through Girard, northbound side not bad. Westbound Vine, 8th Street through Broad or slow, then Lake Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Schuylkill itself both ways really not too bad this Friday morning. Southbound Boulevard, Route 1 a bit slow from Broad down the Fox through construction. 55 northbound busy, Deptford into 42. Tax season can be a big headache if identity thieves steal personal info from your tax forms. LifeLock helps protect, monitor, and restore your identity. No one can monitor all transactions at all businesses, but you can save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com. Promo code RISK. For more traffic information, log on to SigAlert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a WURD weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Clearing skies and cold, gusty winds today, a high of 46 this afternoon. Most of the day, it's going to feel like it's in the 30s with the wind. The wind dies down tonight, clear and cold tomorrow morning, a low of 29 degrees, but a nice warm-up for the first day of spring, a high of 57 Saturday, and even warmer on Sunday with plenty of sunshine, a high of 62. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Wake Up with Word. And, of course, we are talking about a number of things this morning. One, there's a black woman went in a bank in Connecticut, in TD Bank, and was unable to get her money out. It's $1,000. It's not like, you know, it was six figures or $10,000 or anything like that. And, you know, it's just odd and racist. And so the whole thing got on the news, and we'll see. I don't think anything's going to happen to the bank teller, and that's part of the problem, that people can get in, you know, positions of being gatekeepers and can do that kind of thing and exercise their racism in that way. She tells the woman, I don't feel comfortable giving you the money. Well, at that point, you got to talk to the manager. You got to call corporate. Like, some calls need to be made. Some letters need to be written. Some stuff needs to be done, because it's not just, I don't feel comfortable giving you the money. Who are you? That's my money. I am the customer. I want to see the manager. That's just par for the course on how you handle something like that. But, you know, just deep stuff, man. You know, just aggressions. I don't even call them microaggressions, just aggressions, man, that happen to us because we are black. It's crazy stuff, man. And of course, we're also talking about the horrific shootings that happened in Atlanta in a series of Asian spas committed by a white man. He claims it wasn't racist. He did it because of his sexual addiction, some mess, right? And you know, it was racist. You know, the question now is this, what happens going forward? Because here's what happens when other people are discriminated against from other groups. The first ones that they feel should line up with them are black people, because black people understand racism and discrimination, and we should understand what happens to other people. But I think that sometimes some tough conversations need to be had around that, because there are tensions between the black and Asian communities. And a lot of it has to do with commerce and how commerce is done. You know, some of it has to do with who gets into what schools. Some of it has to do with whole industries, like the black hair care industry, where black people were systematically frozen out by Asians. I mean, you know, you just gotta, you know, call a spade, and so where do you go from there, right? Because if we're going to be allies, then we need to be allies in good times and in bad times. It can't just be when something happened to you or when something happens to us. It can't be that. And what I've learned in life is that a lot of what happens is based on relationships. And if you don't have relationships, then guess what? You are interacting based on stereotypes. Because I don't know anything about you. I know what I saw on TV. I know what I heard President Trump say. You know, I know that some of y'all be following me in the store. But beyond that, like, I don't really know you. And there has to be relationship first, even before you have those tough conversations, because you can't have those conversations if you're strangers. You can't. Oh, let's talk about race. No, I can't talk about that with you. I don't know you. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's just a lot, man, that really has to be figured out. Now, we did reach out to an organization, an Asian organization that is an organization that says on its website that they support Black Lives Matter. We thought that would be an appropriate organization to speak to. We haven't been able to confirm the interview yet, but as soon as we can get them on, we will, because we want to hear from them about what happened in Atlanta, but also about what's been happening in the black community and between our communities, because we think that's a helpful conversation to have. Let's talk to Brother Hurt from North Philly on line 4. Go ahead, Brother Hurt.
What up, Simon?
What up, man?
Good morning. How you doing? Hey, Simon, years ago when I was in Richmond, Virginia, I worked for this white man, Shady Grady. So this is what he said. He said, look, man, go in the store and just walk around. I said, huh? So I'm in the store, Simon. I'm walking around. Everybody following me, and he robbing them blind. Yep, that's cold-blooded. And yesterday, I was in the Dollar Tree, and the white man was stealing what people was just watching me. You know, but it's a shame how they watch us. So I remember a while back, do you remember when the black man went to the bank and got all this money and was going to buy him a car, and they called the cops on him? Yeah,
I don't remember that. When did that happen?
It could have been maybe like last year sometime.
Okay.
He got all this money to go buy him a brand new car, and they called the cops on, and the cops pulled him over. So it's crazy. And like I said, they need to lock 45 up, because this mess is all him. The white folks, they can do anything to us. But the main thing is just have a strong back. Don't let them dominate you, or don't let them embarrass you. If it's your money, stay there. Speak to the supervisor. If you don't give you money, then call the damn cops on the bank. Point blank. Have a good weekend.
All right, man. I want to thank you for your call this morning on WRD. This is what I mean, you know, so you doing all of this over my money. Huh? Crazy, crazy stuff, man. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Of course, at 8:40 today, Kawesa Mathis sings, and we are so looking forward to that. Kawesa, have you decided what you're going to sing today?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to do a little Sam Cooke. Change Gonna Come.
Ooh, that's one of my favorite songs in the world. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. So that's 8:40. And you know what? We hope that's prophetic. We hope a change is actually going to come, because the stuff that we're dealing with right now is absolutely crazy. One of the stories I saw before we got on the air, matter of fact, just before we got on the air, you know, Arizona's getting ready to do a recount of all the votes in Maricopa County. 2.1 million votes, Republicans.
Why?
That's what, like, you know, that's what I'm saying. We gonna make up some fraud. Now the election is over. The election has been certified. The election is over. President Biden is in office. Been in office, you know, for what, almost 60 days. Today, getting ready to hit that 100 million mark on the number of vaccinations done within his first 100 days, and doing it 40 days before he said he would. You know, got $1,400 stimulus checks in the mail. You know, dealing with the issues on the border, dealing with Vladimir Putin in a very different way than Donald Trump, who was kissing Putin's butt throughout his presidency, right? And so he's the president. But these people, oh man, just corrupt to the core. Like, the election is over, man. It's over. He lost, and lost badly. But this is what they are doing. This is their strategy, state after state, trying to figure out how to demean, how to undermine, how to lie about President Joe Biden's win. It is amazing to watch. So yeah, that's what your buddy's doing in Arizona, Kawesa.
Like, what a waste of time and resources.
I know.
Like, I feel like there are just now at this point better things to do. Like, you know, stop. You know, maybe some of those people who are recounting the votes, maybe they're certified nurses. Have them go out there on the front lines and start giving people vaccines. Like, there are better things to do than, you know, recount votes that have already been certified. The man is in office. Like, we're not going backwards. I already have somewhat of a sigh of relief just knowing that Trump is no longer there.
I know.
Like, let us live. Let us live a little bit. Jeez.
They don't want us to.
They don't.
They don't want us to. Y'all, we seen y'all dancing in the street. We hated that. So I tell you what, we're going to recount the votes again. You know what I mean? We're going to go to break. On the other side, we are going to continue the show right here on WURD.
Recovery starts with a call. Pennsylvania's Substance Use Disorder Hotline is staffed by real people who are trained to help. They're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They'll get you or your loved one into treatment regardless of your access to insurance. If you or someone you know is suffering from addiction, call 1-800-662-HELP. Recovery starts with a call.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
The Mattress Man is a second-generation family-owned mattress specialist business since 1988. Open 7 days a week, located at 7421 Stenton Avenue. The Mattress Man discounts Serta, memory foam, orthopedic, and ComfortTech mattresses every day. You deal directly with the owner, Julian, to ensure you get the best price and best service. The Mattress Man offers same-day delivery on most models to most areas. Ask about the WURD discount. Call 215-424-5550.
Hi, this is retired Judge Thomasine Tynes, inviting you to tune in this Sunday at 4 p.m. with the Judge and Jetty Show with attorney Jetty Newkirk. Learn about a lot of things you may just not know.
The Black Words Book Club. WURD Radio's new monthly conversation on books that explore the African American experience through social, economic, and environmental justice issues. Tune in the second Tuesday of every month on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. For April, WURD Radio is partnering with the Free Library of Philadelphia and showcasing their pick for its annual citywide reading program, One Book, One Philadelphia, entitled The Tradition by Jericho Brown. Be sure to listen live, as Nick Taliaferro will hold a contest for a giveaway book bundle that consists of 4 titles from Kensington's Defina's Authors of Color's newest release. Don't miss it. Tuesday, April 13th on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Attention for WURD members. Get your copy and receive a 20% discount when you purchase at Harriet's Bookstore or Hakeem's Bookstore. For more information on the Black Words Book Club, visit wordradio.com. The Black Words Book Club is sponsored by Defina. Defina is an imprint of Kensington Publishing Corporation, America's independent publisher, concentrating on authors of color. Lifting every voice till earth and heaven ring. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media. Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by LifeLock Identity Theft Protection. Looking at delays, we have southbound 95 jammed up Cotman down through Bridge. Again, Betsy Ross through Girard, northbound side not bad. Westbound Vine, 8th Street through Broad or slow, then Lake Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Schuylkill itself both ways really not too bad this Friday morning. Southbound Boulevard, Route 1 a bit slow from Broad down to Fox through construction. 55 northbound busy, Deptford into 42. Tax season can be a big headache if identity thieves steal personal info from your tax forms. LifeLock helps protect, monitor, and restore your identity. No one can monitor all transactions at all businesses, but you can save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com, promo code RISK. For more traffic information, log on to SigAlert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a WURD weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Cold, gusty winds drying us out this morning with mostly cloudy skies. Those winds gusting 35 to 40 miles an hour this morning, making it feel like it's in the 20s. We'll see the temperature warm to near 40 at lunchtime as the sun comes out. The wind will subside this afternoon. A high of 46, though, will still feel like it's in the low 40s later today. Clear and cold tonight, 29 degrees. Tomorrow, spring begins first thing in the morning with sunshine, a high of 57 on Saturday. Lots of sunshine and a bit warmer on Sunday. After a morning low of 34, 62 the high. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD, and I want to remind you that WURD supports Black women-owned businesses as we celebrate Women's History Month with the 2021 Level Up Contest. Join us as we embark on a 3-city contest that'll highlight Black women-owned businesses who are making a difference in their communities. You can nominate yourself or your favorite Black woman-owned business and enter to win a marketing campaign valued at $5,000. The deadline for submissions is today, March 19th. Philadelphia finalists will be featured in a special 2-hour live on-air pitch party on March 31st, where the Philadelphia winner will be selected. Go to wordradio.com and click on the Level Up banner for more information or to nominate yourself or a Black woman-owned business that you love. Joining us now, Taylor Allen. She's Planned Philly's housing reporter and joins Wake Up with WURD to discuss what's going on with small landlords in Philadelphia and to talk about the mixed income housing bonus. Taylor, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon.
How are you?
Doing pretty good. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you, too. So, small landlords, there's been a lot of talk, of course, about helping renters through the pandemic, and certainly that's something that should happen. My concern has always been what happens with the people who are landlords, but they're not millionaires. They don't have a whole apartment building. They don't have a triplex and 2 other properties. They have one little house, maybe. They're renting an apartment. Maybe they live on the lower floor and they're renting an apartment on the upper floor. What happens with the small landlords? And so with your reporting, what have you found in terms of what happens and what has been happening with small landlords in the pandemic?
The abridged version is they're the unintended consequence, unfortunately. There has been a lot of programs designed for homeowners, but that doesn't necessarily translate to landlords, right? Not necessarily. And a lot of it has been rent relief, which is important. People should stay in their homes during a pandemic. But the problem is that because there wasn't an inherent design program specifically for small landlords and the people who only own like one property, and a lot of them have the same means or equal means as their tenants, some of them haven't gotten rent in over a year, and they're losing so much money, and they can't really do anything because of some of these tenant protections. Couldn't do late fees for a while. You can't really file anything. So a lot of people they're falling through the cracks.
So one of them, you talked to a woman named Ebony Harris. What happened with her?
Ebony Harris, she is born and raised in Germantown, and she bought her first extra property, I should say, about 3 years ago. The whole idea was to build generational wealth. She wanted to set aside some property for her children to inherit at some point, and also just to have passive income and for them to always have somewhere to stay. They're young kids, though. So in the meantime, she's been renting it out, but she quickly called it the worst decision of her life. She already had renters that were a little not great about paying on time, but when the pandemic happened, she has not gotten a rental payment at all since this time last year. So for the last year, she hasn't gotten anything, and she's lost about $22,000. She can't afford the mortgage. She really can't afford the water bill anymore, and she's just like, I'm kind of done. She's like, I am filing for an eviction. And she went so far to say that she's selling her place, and she has no interest in being a landlord anymore because her funds are completely depleted.
And here's the other thing. So if you're a small landlord, and even if you're a large landlord, a lot of times there's a mortgage on the property. There's still insurance you have to pay on the property. There are, of course, as you alluded to, the utility bills you have to pay on the property. And you're dependent on the rent to be able to pay at least some of that cost. And so I'm wondering, did she have a mortgage on the property, or did you talk to any landlords who had a mortgage on the property? Because if you fall behind on that, then the bank forecloses.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all of the small landlords I spoke to, they all have a mortgage, right? And that's the number one thing because, yes, it's true that you can apply for forbearance, but forbearance is not forgiveness, right? Like, that just means that you have to come out with all of that once it ends. And, you know, at the beginning of the pandemic, it was only like 6 months, and they extended it for a year. But, again, you have to come out with all of that cash at some point. It's not forgiven by any means. So, yeah, she is, you know, it's a symbiotic relationship. I'm not talking about the people who have property managers. I'm not talking about the people who have, like, umpteenth units in one big building. Like you said, it's only one person that probably has one other house that's been inherited now. Like, these people, again, they're not, and I want to make a point, too, that they're the majority of landlords in Philadelphia. 73% of people fall into that category of only having, like, one or two properties. These people are of the same economic means as their tenants, so they can't afford to just not have an income for a year.
And so what is the city doing to help them, or the state or the federal government, to help these small landlords that make up the bulk of those who are renting out property in Philadelphia?
Well, there is an argument that rental assistance was always inherently more of a landlord program. You know, like, obviously that money is supposed to go straight to the landlord. But beyond even that, there's not something particularly designed for small landlords specifically. There's homeowners stuff that on the state, it was called the Pandemic Mortgage Assistance Program, but I'm pretty sure that is expired by now. But again, there's nothing really specific for small landlords. I know that the upcoming rental assistance package, Phase 4, that's coming at the end of the month. And I do know that the city is allowing landlords now to pre-register to try to steamroll the process so they can get their rental assistance faster. But again, as far as like a very specific program specifically designed for landlords, it just doesn't exist.
We're talking with Taylor Allen. She's Plan Philly's housing reporter. And we're talking about small landlords in the city of Philadelphia, a casualty really of what has happened during the pandemic. So most of the people in Philadelphia who are landlords own, you know, 1 or 2 units. Tell us about the people who own 25 or more units. What's happening with them?
Okay. I want to say those represent about only 2% of the landlords in the city. But the interesting aspect of that is that they own more than half of the rentals in the city. And I think that's where we get the idea that, you know, the landlord is this big overlord, basically, that has a lot of money and is very wealthy. The bigger landlords, they were the ones who were pushing against the rental assistance, at least in the beginning phases, because there wasn't enough money. And they were the ones that didn't actually have as much economic impact in comparison to smaller landlords. Smaller landlords are the ones that are like, I'm going to probably lose my property. The bigger landlords, don't get me wrong, they have different issues, but it's more about how the market has changed and how they have to market their properties online and different fees of that nature. But as far as like economic pressures, that's completely on the smaller ones, not as much on the bigger ones.
And so, you know, I'm curious, how important are these small landlords to the city's economy?
Oh, it's incredibly important. You know, I know there are some criticisms about, like, really, you're going to humanize landlords? Like, are you serious? But realistically speaking, the small landlords, they provide the bulk and the mass majority of unsubsidized affordable housing in this city, okay? If small landlords leave, one, bigger landlords are going to probably build that up. But two, if you can't find affordable housing now, you're definitely not going to find it after they're gone. Like, they are the ones who house some of the most vulnerable people. They're the ones who are more open to people who have a background, or if you don't have the greatest credit, or if you have a criminal history. These are the people who would actually give you a place to stay. And so if they leave, if you think that pushing people out or gentrification is a problem now, it's definitely going to be devastating in the future if you let these people fall through the cracks.
Wow. So, you know, then there's the tenants, though. So the rental assistance is something that, you know, the tenant has to do, the landlord has to agree. what have been some of the issues tenants have faced in trying to get the assistance that they need?
Not enough funds, basically. Don't get me wrong, the federal government has been relatively generous, right? Like, the city has spent like $60 million in rental assistance like just last year, and they're getting millions more this year. But that being said, affordable housing and tenant issues has always been a problem in Philadelphia, and so there just wasn't a whole lot of funds, right? If you applied for it, who knew if you were going to get it, one? And then two, some of it's really, really late. Like in Ebony's case, one of her tenants, she did get approved for like phase 3, right? But she still hasn't gotten her funds yet.
Wow.
Right. So, like, yes, there's definitely tenants, there's definitely stuff for these people, but, you know, bureaucracy's in the place, funds are in the place, transfers, it's a problem. So, like, yeah, there's programs, but there's no guarantee you're also going to get them. I mean, still apply, absolutely. Go for help. It'll definitely help you in your case if something goes south or you need to go to court, but it's an imperfect system.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about mixed income housing. That's the other thing that you wrote about. First of all, what's mixed income housing? And then what's a mixed income housing bonus?
Okay. Well, mixed income housing is a way to basically make neighborhoods or try to keep neighborhoods economically diverse. It's when a project has, you know, market rate, but also mixed in with like some affordable housing. And by some, it could be as little as like 1 or 2. So that's like the mixed income housing that we're talking about, also referred to as an inclusionary zoning, which is the same thing for the purposes of what we're talking about. And then the bonus is when a developer wants to have a project done, and in exchange for getting more floor space or more height or even more units, they can opt to either include affordable housing, which is affordable housing, or they can pay into the Housing Trust Fund, which, you know, is supposed to be this fund for like home repairs across the city and also to make more affordable housing in the city.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so City Council met yesterday. What's going on with them and zoning concerning this mixed income housing?
Sure. So yesterday, there's a slew of bills that's just like more like zoning reform, a lot of technical changes, just a lot of updates, just to keep it updated. But on top of that, Councilman Kenyatta Johnson tacked on an amendment on top of one that basically says that in the zip code 19146, if you opt to have this bonus, you absolutely have to build an affordable unit. So that means that you cannot just bypass this loophole by just giving to the Housing Trust Fund.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so were there those that were against that? Were there those that were for it? Like, how did that break down?
Right. Well, the people who are for it are usually people, quite frankly, who are in the neighborhood, who are like, hey, you know, in that zip code, there's places like Graduate Hospital that is one of the most rapidly gentrifying places in the city. And they're like, yeah, I want to stay here. Please, like, you know, how is this an affordable housing incentive if you're not making affordable housing? So his actual constituents are about it. However, why other people are against, mostly planners or developers, is because it's a complete carve-out, right? Zoning laws are supposed to be uniform across, to be done by planners and people who have a degree in them, right?
Oh, you broke up a little bit right there, Taylor. So you were talking about how zoning laws are supposed to be uniform, and the developers are the ones who are against it. So Taylor's breaking up. Corey, so let's see if we can get Taylor back because I do want to hear about this because what's happening is in gentrifying areas, you have housing that is being sold for ridiculous amounts of money, and unfortunately, people who might be of more modest means can't afford to get housing in those areas, and so people end up being pushed out. Even people who are not necessarily impoverished, but have a modest income. So, Taylor, you're back. So you were saying about zoning laws and why people, particularly developers, were against this amendment.
Yeah, basically just because they're supposed to be uniform, and people don't want things to be carved out, so there's different zoning laws for every different district, and it creates more bureaucracy. And there's also the thought that politicians shouldn't really be in charge of planning. It should be the city planners, because they have an overarching goal, like 10, 15 years, and they see it as basically politicians are undermining their expertise and being like, hey, also the carve out for the housing trust fund, because the trust fund itself offers a lot of programs for home repairs. And it's like, okay, but you're taking money away from the housing trust fund. So that was like the big dispute yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they would lose money. I mean, they can't charge top dollar for everything, so developers would lose some money.
I mean, yeah, or what could happen is that they just bypass it entirely, right? Like, you don't have to do affordable housing. You can just do a buy rate. You can just make it market rate. So there's also the concern of like, well, now we're just not going to do it at all. Like, so there might be a chance that, A, you might not have any affordable units, and you might not have any money for the housing trust fund. That's definitely a possibility.
Mm-hmm. So if they just do that, I mean, is there any consequence for that? If they're supposed to do one thing and they just say, we're not going to do it, is there any consequence? Is there any way to stop them from doing that?
It's not necessarily a consequence, because the bonus was always an incentive, right? Like, you can either get the incentive or not. So it was just like, oh, I guess you just won't get extra floor space. So it's not really like you get a consequence because you have to do the thing. It's more like, if you want this extraness, like extra credit, here you go. Because it was always an incentive. It was never a requirement.
Wow. So where can we find your work, Taylor?
WHYY, Taylor Allen, WHYY.org.
All right. That's Taylor Allen. She is, of course, the housing reporter for Plan Philly. You can find her work at WHYY.org. Taylor, as always, thanks so much. We look forward to talking with you next week.
Thank you.
All right. So, of course, coming up now, we're going to be talking about your money with Akbar Hassan. And, yeah, it is important now. People getting those stimulus checks. We have to talk about your money. We're going to talk about it with Akbar Hassan on the other side of this break. And then at 8:40, Kawesa Mathis blesses us with a song. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
If you understand the value of doing business with a company that values its clients, remember this name, Heat and Air Guys. At Heat and Air Guys, we give our clients extra value by offering lots of ways to make their lives easier, like financing for your installation. You get 18 months, no interest, no payments, 10-year parts and labor warranties, service on all makes and models, seasonal tune-ups, all offered by skilled, reliable technicians who value the opportunity to be of service to you. Call Heat and Air Guys at 610-583-3207.
What's up, everyone? I know you know the word, no, not the station, but this word, J-O-B that is, and our friends at Amoroso's Baking Company are hiring right now. Amoroso's has been baking the delicious bread in our community for over 100 years, and they want you to join their team today. The old and the young love Amoroso's, and they are hiring right now. Check it out. They offer fair pay and provide health, dental, and prescription plans after 90 days employment. Call 856-754-0355 or visit amorososbaking.com for details.
The Black Words Book Club. WURD Radio's new monthly conversation on books that explore the African American experience through social, economic, and environmental justice issues. Tune in the second Tuesday of every month on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. For April, WURD Radio is partnering with the Free Library of Philadelphia and showcasing their pick for its annual citywide reading program, One Book, One Philadelphia, entitled The Tradition by Jericho Brown. Be sure to listen live, as Nick Taliaferro will hold a contest for a giveaway book bundle that consists of 4 titles from Kensington's Defina's Authors of Color's newest release. Don't miss it. Tuesday, April 13th on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Attention for WURD members. Get your copy and receive a 20% discount when you purchase at Harriet's Bookstore or Hakeem's Bookstore. For more information on the Black Words Book Club, visit wordradio.com. The Black Words Book Club is sponsored by Defina. Defina is an imprint of Kensington Publishing Corporation, America's independent publisher, concentrating on authors of color.
Want the latest in word swag?
Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black.
Talk media.
Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Farmers Insurance. Looking at the delays we have southbound 95, you're jammed up Cotman down through Bridge through construction. Busy again Allegheny through Girard. Northbound not bad. Westbound Vine, that's heavy from 95 to Broad Street. Again, delays Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Schuylkill eastbound Boulevard through Girard, heavy there. Southbound Boulevard Route 1, that is backed up from 9th Street down through Fox through ongoing construction. Looking at the 676 in New Jersey, and not a bad ride overall this morning. Ben Franklin Bridge, they're going to find that jam mid-span down into Center City, Philadelphia, all because of that delay on the Vine Expressway. 55 north jamming Deptford into 42. Call 1-888 Farmers to switch, and you could save on your auto insurance. What else are you going to do with your phone for the next few minutes? Look at pictures of food your friends ate. Call 1-888 Farmers for a quote. For more traffic information, log on to SigAlert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a word weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Clearing skies and cold, gusty winds today, a high of 46 this afternoon. Most of the day, it's going to feel like it's in the 30s with the wind. The wind dies down tonight, clear and cold tomorrow morning, a low of 29 degrees, but a nice warm-up for the first day of spring, a high of 57 Saturday, and even warmer on Sunday with plenty of sunshine, a high of 62. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
You're waking up
with WURD.
Hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Don't do it. There's other ways to celebrate your anniversary other than going in debt. The fact that it's credit card debt tells me it's not any debt that was, needed. Past performance is not indicative of future results. So with that qualifier, don't walk, run.
And now, Akbar Hassan, only on Wake Up with WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. Joining us now is Akbar Hassan. He's a personal financial advisor counseling individuals and small businesses. He has 3 decades of corporate finance experience in 2 of the world's largest law firms. He unwraps the mystery of money, offering practical, insightful, and easy-to-understand guidance. Akbar, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. How's your fight against the birds?
Yeah. So far, so good. Well, I haven't put down any new seed yet. I seeded in the front in the fall. And so I'm expecting, that grass is going to be mature. I did go and get some treatment for for the front lawn. My issue is going to be in the back. I'm planning to do my seeding probably after tomorrow because it's supposed to be cold tomorrow. But, so that's where my fight against the birds is going to be waged, in the back.
Yeah, hearing you explain this, you definitely have gained experience and definitely a dark green thumb now. So,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. This stuff, I mean, they come around, and I'm hearing them out there. They singing, they getting ready. And I remember just watching them, man. They would literally, it was so funny. They would watch me come out of the house. You know what I mean? They go, I come out, get off the lawn. They fly up in the tree and just wait. They watch me get in the
And they
car,
talking about,
like, all right, get ready to drive away.
Don't he know we studying him? We got his every move. All right, when he leaves, you take the left, I take the right. You got in the middle.
That's it. That is it, man. Between them and the doggone squirrels, it was crazy. So, but yeah, I'm ready to wage my battle in the back. We will be in the back this year waging that battle. And Akbar, we'll have you over once we try to figure this whole thing out and once everybody kind of gets vaccinated. But, yeah, this yard, man, that's where it's going. That's where we're going to have to fight it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So people are getting their stimulus checks, Akbar. And, you know, I'm hearing folks talk about it. It's burning a hole in their pocket. I mean, what is your advice quickly on that?
Well, you know, my advice is, like I said last week, you know, make sure you take care of your necessities first. You know, make sure you put some to savings, right? You know, and buy black. Now, we can't forget that. Like I said last week with a punctuation, is that, you know, we need to take care. We have the tools now to take care of our community. All right. So, you know, buy black, buy black, buy black. That's the main thing you need to do. And don't squander it. You don't want to look back next year and say, you know, well, we got this stimulus and I have nothing to show for it. I have nothing. I have no education. My kids are still, you know, not doing well. I have, you know, nothing to show for it. You want to be able to have made some gain with yourself or within the community with the stimulus that we received.
Mm-hmm. And so we have a question from one of our listeners this week that's kind of related to the stimulus. What's our question this week?
The question is, more and more large companies are investing in cryptocurrency. A few years ago, it was considered speculative. Has that changed? I would like to invest some of my stimulus money in it. What do you think? Yes, more and more people or companies have been investing in cryptocurrency, or investment firms. They're creating funds now to allow their clients to invest in it. Today, I read that Morgan Stanley, and this is really hot off the press, is the first large U.S. bank to offer Bitcoin funds to its clients. Actually, let me correct that. Only to its rich clients, all right? So the clients that only have above $2 million.
Wow.
By the firm. That's right. So you have to have $2 million invested in them in order to have access to their cryptocurrency funds. And the reason for that is simple. This is, they only want people who can tolerate risk. So they recognize that it's still risky, all right? So they want to give people what they want, but only if you can tolerate that risk. Okay. So it makes sense. But for a lot of people, like, okay, yeah, cryptocurrency. What is cryptocurrency? And very simply, cryptocurrency is nothing but electronic currency, all right? It's this currency that's sent back and forth electronically, like the banks do. The banks don't keep things on paper anymore. It's all digitally in the computer, all right? So the main difference is that cryptocurrency, everything is kept in the computer in ledgers, where the cryptocurrency is kept with algorithms. And if it seems far-fetched, think about how you handle your personal finances. Me personally, I touch money, maybe actual physical cash, once, maybe twice, at least in a month. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I had to mail an express package 2 weeks ago for someone. I paid it with my credit card. The person cash apped me the money. I transferred that cash app money to my account and then used it to pay off my credit card. No money touched at all. All right? So I think the appetite for cryptocurrency will grow similar to like the internet grew, 20, 25 years ago. Like, what's this internet thing? And now we're using it for everything. Everything. So I think that if it's a good investment, but only if you read about it. I think it's okay to have exposure to it, all right? But only if you can handle the risk, all right? So don't, after you have all those main things taken care of in your life, just save everything saved up, just 6 months saved. If you have, your necessities taken care of, you've done everything you need to do financially, exposure is not a bad thing. But I will say that read about it first. Don't go and say, hey, if someone comes to you and say, hey, put money here, don't go here, open up an account, put money in it. Read and understand it first. The same thing you would do with stocks, do it with cryptocurrency. Yes, it is still speculative. Even though a lot of large companies, Tesla now has holdings in it, yes, they understand it. In order for you to invest in it, you must understand it. What I would do as an alternative is invest in companies that are needed to keep track of Bitcoin. I think of software. I think of processors. I think of memory. Because since all this cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and all that need computers, why not invest into computers? We know that that even if cryptocurrency isn't used, we still need computers. So maybe think about the alternative companies instead. But first, do your reading. It's still speculative. That's why Morgan Stanley is only allowing the rich people. They're not allowing everyone to get in on the pool on this because they know it's still speculative. So you have to feel the same way about it. But if you have the appetite for risk and did your research and you study and you fully understand what it is, then it's okay to have some exposure to it. That's what I think.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, it's one of those things, man. I can't wrap my mind around it because it's like, okay, well, it's Bitcoin. How is that real? You know what I mean? Like, how do you spend it if it's not real money? And I'm still trying to wrap my mind around. I know some people invested in it early on, and it was hot, but then the market cooled on it, and a lot of people lost money.
Well, Solomon, here's something else to think about. So around the world, there's a lot of debt piling up, right? So especially because of this COVID, right? So governments are printing money.
Yes.
That's not backed by anything. So now, is the money worth anything now? So that's an argument for that. Again, that's happening right now. And so investment firms and companies are looking for places to another class of assets that may be more stable, maybe considered more stable, or they're like, well, since we're giving out free money, we're printing money, then this cryptocurrency doesn't look so bad now. All right. And so that's why that's one of the reasons companies are doing it now. But like I said in my earlier example, you can live your life without touching a physical dollar with physical money. So that's really no different than a cryptocurrency, which is all kept in the computer and kept tracked by a different method. So it's just if you, like I said, if you want exposure to it, I would keep track of it. Don't go and just put money in a cryptocurrency and walk away. Study and understand what it really is. And then, if that's an appetite that's important to you or something you're interested in, then go ahead and do it.
Yeah. It's interesting, man, because I just had a conversation with my son yesterday about some of the NFL games going to Amazon Prime, and I said to him, it was just an offhand remark that everything is going to be online in the future, Solomon. That's where the future is. Everything is going to be online, and the future is now. And it speaks to your point about, this cryptocurrency.
Yeah. And it's funny. I thought about that. I thought that today also. I said, wow, Amazon Prime, what happened to the 3 major stations? And we look at coming to America coming into America too. It's, on an alternative, well, I call it an alternative network, but it's a prominent network. But, there's the world is changing. The world is changing. So you have to kind of like let go of the past some way and progress to where the future's going. And the future is going to change. And just we have to keep our finger on the pulse of what's going on and be ready to move. All
right. That is Akbar Hassan, financial consultant extraordinaire. Akbar, where do people get in touch with you?
I'm on email at akbar-hassan@comcast.net, and I'm on Twitter at AKHassanReal.
All right. Well, Akbar, as always, man, thanks so much.
Thank you, Solomon.
All right. So we got a couple of minutes so we can take your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning show. Of course, you can also hit us on Facebook at onWURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD. And you can comment and watch there. So, Kawesa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
Okay, so we have quite a few comments here. Just trying to, of course, my phone is, there we go. Okay, so Rebecca Truxton said, good morning to you. She's saying, good morning, Word family. Have a blessed day. Sing, Kawesa, sing. Okay. And then we also have Zen Motley said, what about a Bitcoin ETF? When will they start? I'm Is ETF
Yeah, we don't know what
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Gail Robinson, good morning to you. She's saying thank you, Akbar. Cheryl Brown, good morning to you as well. Always great to see you. Kwesi Vickers Jr. is saying good morning. Eunice, I'm so sorry if I'm saying your name. I think it's Eunice, though. Sewell says, morning. I haven't seen the bank teller story. Most people have a transaction pattern. If the teller notices a change, the thought is a scam or forced withdrawal. Take care and stay safe. I mean, that is, understandable. I would just think that if you have your ID, it shouldn't matter,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
Just,
Get out of it.
Gail said, thank you, Taylor, Allen. So shout out to Taylor. Carmen Iris says, good morning, happy Friday. So happy Friday to you as well. Deborah Dorn Carter is wishing Miss Levita a happy birthday on tomorrow. So yes, happy birthday. You're gonna have to tell us on Monday what you all did for her birthday. Diane Hamilton Mitchell says, Sugar Lady said, have a blessed weekend. Yes, and good morning to you, and good morning to Sugar Lady. Tell her we said hey. And Winona Hayes Poole, good morning, Word family. Can you pin Akbar's contact information in the thread? And I'll read it one more time to you all. It's Akbar, AKBAR Hassan, HASAN at Comcast.net. So that is his email. And then Malik Stewart is saying, good morning, Word family. My Friday does not start until we were blessed by the Queen. Come on, Coasis. So,
Come on now.
And good morning to Michelle Branch as well. So those are our comments that we have this morning, but go ahead and keep them coming, and I will keep reading them as they come.
All right. So absolutely. And of course, on the other side of the break, Coasis is going to bless us with a song, and I am trying to find this thing that I'm supposed to do because, and you know what, it's getting ready to be cold again tomorrow, Kawesa. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Man, can we please get a break, please? Can we get a break with this doggone weather? But it's March. That's what it does. It kind of goes back and forth. It's between spring and winter, and so that is what we do. The time, of course, now is 8:39, and the temperature is 39 degrees here in the city of Philadelphia. That is sponsored by Beach Companies. Dr. Ken Scott, president of the Beach Companies, reminds everyone to support Black people and Black business 365. Please view and download the free 2021 Black Business Directory and Community Resources Directory at beachcompanies.com. That's BEECH companies.com. We're going to go to break. On the other side, Kuwait is going to bless us. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Attention WURD audience, do you know that you can get help with your PICO energy bill? PICO is here to help you with financial help through various assistance programs, including the PICO CAP program, which provides a monthly credit for eligible low-income customers based on the customer's total household gross income and energy usage. If you are experiencing financial hardship, you may qualify for the PICO CAP program.
And PICO Cares is the customer assistance and referral evaluation service designed to assist special needs, low-income customers who have a temporary personal or financial hardship that prevents the payment of your PICO energy bill. If you have a special needs child or adult in your care, your household may qualify for the CARES program.
Call 1-800-774-7040 today to see if you qualify due to an existing situation or a change in circumstances within your household. Call 1-800-774-7040 today for more information on the PICO CAP or PICO Cares program. PICO, powering our communities.
Tune in this Saturday at 3 p.m. for the We Dream About Real Estate and More show with Hakeem Singleton and Matt King, where you will learn how to buy a house responsibly, travel on a budget, and look good while doing it.
WURD Radio celebrates Women's History Month with the 2021 Level Up Contest. Join us as we embark on a 3-city contest that will highlight Black women-owned businesses who are making a difference in their communities. You can nominate yourself or your favorite Black women-owned business and enter to win a marketing campaign valued at $5,000. Level Up is a joint production of WURD Radio in Philadelphia, WVON in Chicago, and KJLH in Los Angeles. These 3 Black-owned stations are joining forces to host a historic, interactive, and multimedia contest spotlighting Black women-owned businesses in Philly, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Philadelphia finalists will be featured in a special 2-hour live on-air pitch party on March 31st, where the Philadelphia winner will be selected. Go to wordradio.com and click on the Level Up banner for more information or to nominate yourself or a Black woman-owned business you love.
Breaking news.
There's still time.
WURD Radio has extended the deadline for the 2021 Level Up contest until March 19th. If you have a favorite Black woman-owned business or are one yourself, visit wordradio.com and click on the Level Up banner. You can nominate your own business or one that you love. And stay tuned to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Brought to you by Bank of America, Comcast, Pico, Keystone First, Thomas Jefferson University, and Jefferson Health.
Back by popular demand.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I'm going to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. And as we do every Friday, Kawesa Mathis blesses us with a song at 8:40. Make sure you tell your mama them, tell your daddy them, tell your cousin them, tell everybody, because we look forward to this. Kawesa, what are we going to hear today?
I'm going to do Sam Cooke, A Change Gonna Come. So that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Take a deep breath here. I was born by the river in a little tent, and on like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will. Said I go to the movies and I go downtown. Somebody keeps telling me, don't you hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. I know change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. Thank you.
Beautiful, 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 man. We need that right now. So many things have to change, and God, we needed that. So thank you, Kawesa. Thank you. Talk about that. No, thank you. We want to hear from you. Give us a call. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in. Why'd you choose that song today?
There's so much that's going on in the world right now. And I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like, sometimes I don't always know until like, you know, the night of what I'm going to do. But just with all of the turmoil and the pain and that people are going through, the deaths that people are going through, I don't know why it crept in there. And, that was why. I wholeheartedly believe that a change is going to come. I hope and pray that change is in our lifetime. I really do. But I also know that, things are moving. Things are slowly changing. And so I just, want people to kind of hold on to that faith.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to hear from you. You can certainly give us a call at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. I'm smiling because I'm thinking about my daughter. My daughter, some years ago, dubbed the show Hooping and Hollering with Solomon Jones, right? So, but after Kawesa sings, I always feel a little bit more mellow. I always feel a little bit more calm. I always feel a little bit more hopeful. And so thank you for that. And I want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. You can also hit us on Facebook at ForWord, at FORWURD, FORWURD. That is how you can weigh in and watch us. Check us out on Facebook at FORWURD. We want to hear from you. Let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning's show, including our top 3 stories, which are story number 1, we might be in for another surge of COVID-19, one expert says, but the mass vaccination of the most vulnerable Americans is likely to limit its human cost. Story number 2, a black woman who's president and founder of the Connecticut Parents Union says she was recently denied a withdrawal of just over $1,000 from a business account she holds at TD Bank because a teller at a branch of the bank in Southington, Connecticut, simply decided she wasn't going to give it to her. Gwen Samuel said that she went inside the bank, she gave him her bank card, her license, and the teller was like, yeah, well, I don't feel comfortable giving you the money. So, like, what? It sounds like a lawsuit to me. Story number 3, I've learned a lot about racism in the last 4 years. That's why when a white man killed 6 Asian women and 2 others in what looks like a hate crime, I was not surprised. And it's something that I think we all have to talk about. And so we are looking forward to talking with the organization that we reached out to. We hope to have them on Monday because we have to have some tough conversations, I believe, between the Asian and black communities. We know what discrimination is. We know what it looks like. We know what racism looks like. And, we all need to stand against it. But I think some conversations need to be had between our 2 communities. There are black people who have anti-Asian bias. Certainly Asians, sometimes exercise and show an anti-black bias in many different ways. And it's something that we have to talk about before we talk about, really being allies in any fight concerning racism. We got to work out our own stuff. And so that's kind of where we're at. And I want to hear from you. You give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Maurice from Southwest is on line 1. Go ahead, Maurice.
Solomon, I'm sitting back here eating my cornbread and corn liquor, listening to her sing, and I'm in another world, brother. Take me right
I know
to
that's
the
right.
weekend. Well, let me tell you something. The reason I like your show is because I can be brutally honest. People might not agree with what I say, but I don't want them to agree. I just want them to hear how I'm feeling. And I have a Korean store across the street from me. Good people. Never had a problem with them. They look out for me. I look out for them. And I walked into the store the other day, and the lady asked me, what do you think about Georgia? You know what I told her? It was brutally honest. Now you know what it feels like to be black. And she just looked at me. I said, why did you say that? I said, because when we have innocent black men being killed and you hear it on the news, you probably think he must have did something wrong. Now, your people didn't do nothing wrong, but a fool came in there and murdered y'all. And now you want to talk about it, but you never asked me about, it's a shame what happened to that black man. You never say that to me. And then the lady had to be honest and say, you know what, I never thought of it that way. Well, now you know what it feels to be black. Now, as far as what's going on with the murders in this city, I just want to throw this one out there. URD used to have shows up to 1 o'clock in the morning, live shows.
Mm-hmm.
Beth Smith, Ron Reddy from Reading. I used to listen to them all. I think it would be nice, if possible, one day, that they could have a young 20-year-old people or host come on and talk about what's going on in the streets with these young people and see what we can get from their response if they had a little bit of time, because we don't talk about them. We don't talk about giving them the vaccine. We kind of leave them in the void. And sometimes we got to show them some attention, knowing that they're relevant. And that's what I'm hearing in the streets. And that's just my suggestion for the day. And thank you, Sal.
Thank you for your call this morning on WURD, and we are on the same page in terms of hearing from some young voices about what's happening in the street. So I want to thank you for saying that, Maurice, and we will work something like that out, and I'm sure that WURD will be in support of it. So let's talk with Io from South Philly on line 2. Go ahead, Io.
Hey, Solomon. Good morning, Kwesa. Well, you know, I just had it with Kwesa. I said, Lord, have mercy. She did just lift my spirit. And I know why she sang the song, because, you know, back in the day, out of desperation and looking for hope, we always sang a song.
Yeah.
That's what we had, a way of communicating to our Creator and a way of communicating to one another. You know, when it was time to go through over the river or whatever, you know, they sang a song that Master couldn't understand, you know. So thank God we have a Master that understands us, you know, and knows what we're going through. And I don't know, pretend to know his mind of why this is turning over the way it is and why things are being exposed the way they are, but there's nothing new under the sun. And we're not surprised that Asians never really felt what we feel, but then there are a segment of them that did feel what we felt, because they were locked up and all this kind of thing. You know, I have a Japanese sister-in-law who's been in our family now, maybe Richard must be about 45, 48 years old. This is my nephew. And as a child, of course, he looked Asian. Then as he grew, he became browner, and his eyes and everything sort of changed.
Yes.
There is a little bit of a way about him that you can tell he's mixed. But in the meantime, they once thought that we had tails. You know how they used to tell them that, you know, we were not human and all this kind of thing. And then they start marrying into our nationality, and then saw that, you know, we're just like them. We bleed, we cry, we laugh, you know, we make children, you know. But long story short, I guess today, like you said, a song quieted your spirit. And that was a beautiful thing that she did, and that she was obedient to the Spirit to give us that this morning. I think as you begin a day with prayer, you can also begin a day with praise in a song. So bless her heart, and like I always tell you, you know, keep a cover over her, because you know she's special.
Yes, she is.
Okay, keep covering her, Solomon. I appreciate you, and we're going to cover you in prayer all the time. Okay, baby?
Thank you. I need that desperately.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that, and we appreciate it. Let's go to Sharif from West Philly on line 3. Go ahead, Sharif.
Morning, Solomon. Thanks for picking up my call.
You're welcome.
Solomon, I only called for one thing. This is the first time I actually heard Voice sing, and I just want to know where I can get her album. That's all I wanted to know. I'm telling you so much. You know, we kind of lost now in music where it's the person's voice that you want to hear, but now the beat, everything just kind of covered it up.
Yeah.
Voice that does not need any beat, nothing at all. I just her voice alone. I mean, I'm driving to work stressed out, okay, and hearing her sing, it just calmed me down. I forgot my problems, Solomon. I forgot all my problems. And that's the reason why I'm calling. I need that album, please. Voice that, please, make an album. Thank you, Solomon, for picking up my call.
Thank you, Sharif, for your call this morning on WURD Radio. We appreciate it. Let's talk to Shaquille from the Northeast. Go ahead, Shaquille.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I just want to say, Kuwait can sing her behind off. And what Maurice said, I definitely agree with him. That would be definitely cool if we had a bunch of young people on the show to talk about how they feel about this violence going on.
Yeah, I agree.
I definitely agree with him. He brought up a good point. Because what better hear it than the young people? Because they're the ones that's going through it.
Yep. All right. I want to thank you for your call, Shaquille, this morning on WURD. We got to go to break. On the other side of this break, we are going to continue the show. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Recovery starts with a call. Pennsylvania's Substance Use Disorder Hotline is staffed by real people who are trained to help. They're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They'll get you or your loved one into treatment regardless of your access to insurance. If you or someone you know is suffering from addiction, call 1-800-662-HELP. Recovery starts with a call.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Hey there, all you ashy folk. I got the solution for your ashy skin. Nubian K Essentials all natural body lotions at www.nubiankessentials.com. Also found at Hakeem's, 210 South 52nd Street, the Wayne Avenue Health Store, 5007 Wayne Avenue, and Cultural Exchange, 1450 Point Breeze Avenue. Or go to www.nubiankessentials.com and kiss your ashy skin goodbye.
This Women's History Month, WURD Radio is proud to celebrate Black women innovators and trailblazers who have helped us all level up.
Welcome to Black Artist Story 365. My name is Envy McKee. Get into this episode where we explore the art and artistry of American-born French entertainer, French resistance agent, and civil rights activist Josephine Baker. In New York City during the Harlem Renaissance, she performed at the Plantation Club and in the chorus line of the groundbreaking and hugely successful Broadway revues Shuffle Along in 1921 and the Chocolate Dandies in 1924. Baker was billed at the time as the highest paid chorus girl in vaudeville. Goddess Jo sailed to Paris in October of 1925 to open La Revue Nègre. She became an instant success for her danse sauvage, what we call the banana skirt dance. I guess, well, everybody called it that. Josephine Baker was the most successful American entertainer working in France. So that's it for this episode of Black Artist Story 365. My name is Envy McKee. See you next episode.
This Women's History Month vignette was brought to you by Comcast and Thomas Jefferson University and Jefferson Health.
WURD recognizes Black women innovators and entrepreneurs who are making history every day. Nominate a Black woman-owned business for our Level Up contest. Go to wordradio.com for more information. Brought to you by Bank of America, Comcast, Keystone First, PICO, Thomas Jefferson University, and Jefferson Health.
In celebration of women,
Michelle Obama.
If we want to give all of our children a foundation for their dreams, then we must work like never before.
This is WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD. Philadelphia. Independent.
Black media. Backed by popular demand.
It's Wake Up with WURD. Hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. We are taking your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning show, including our top 3 stories, which are story number 1, the U.S. may be on the cusp of another COVID-19 case surge, one expert says, but the mass vaccination of the most vulnerable Americans is likely to limit its human cost. Story number 2, a black woman who is president and founder of the Connecticut Parents Union says she was recently denied a withdrawal of just over $1,000 from a business account she holds at TD Bank because a teller at a branch of the bank in Southington, Connecticut, simply decided she was not going to give it to her. Story number 3, I've learned a lot about racism in the last 4 years. That's why when a white man killed 6 Asian women and 2 others in what looks like a hate crime, I was not surprised. But maybe this is a moment for blacks and Asians to check our own racial tensions. And as we mourn those we've lost, we can finally look at each other honestly and try to figure out our common ground. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning's show. So, you know, I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful that I have had opportunities in life to know people who are from different cultures, to actually become friends with people who are from different cultures, to know people who are a mixture of different cultures. And there are some who are in the media who I consider colleagues and friends who are a mixture of those different cultures. And I think that, you know, there is a unique perspective that comes from that. And I think that also there is a perspective that comes from just knowing people. You know what I mean? From just really knowing and sitting down and having conversations and having interactions and working with people and knowing them even beyond the workplace. And, you know, one of the first people who put me in a position of leadership was a Korean pastor named Q-Bom Lee. And we remain friends. Our families remain friends. And, of course, you know, brothers and sisters in Christ. And, you know, that's a long-term relationship. And so, you know, because of that long-term relationship, I'm not one that's ever going to say that all Asians are this or all Asians are that. Like, I can't, because I know better. But I know better from experience, not from, you know, me just wanting to be, you know, open-minded. And I think that's what has to happen, is that people have to have conversations with each other. People have to look at our common ground. People have to look at our common experience. People have to look beyond what we look like on the outside. We do. And so I want to talk about it. So give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning show. 215-634-8065 is the number you can call to get in. You can also hit us on Facebook at onWURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD. Let's go to Walter from New Jersey on line 1. Go ahead, Walter.
Top of the morning to you, King Solomon, and the songbird herself, Queen Kuwaisa. How you both doing?
Good, and you?
Yes. We needed that song of optimism and strength. It's been already 3 months, and yes, change is coming. I thought the song was perfect timing, and I'm thankful for you, Solomon, being the initiator and the knowledgeable leader of initiating change in our community as well as our world. That's a blessing in itself. In closing, too, Solomon, I I hear a lot about TD Bank, even in New Jersey. A lot of them are closing, shutting down. Not to knock them down, but they continue to knock them down with that sad story that you're telling me there. I always recommend, we're walking around with our cell phones, talking on the phones all the time. When we face scenarios like this is the time to turn that phone on the record button, use those social networks and all, and post it live while it's going on. I'm certain that the banks have recordings of it already. They've recorded everybody going in and out of the bank.
Yeah.
But my recommendation, turn that record button on, so when you go for that lawsuit, you have the audio in addition to the video of that will substantiate and justify the law.
That's a good point.
Yes. I've had a car accident, and the woman had so many other issues going on and all. I just ran the tape, and all of a sudden she got it together. Yeah. Stay well, King, okay?
All right, man. Thank you so much, Walter. I appreciate your call this morning on WURD Radio. Renee from West Oak is online, too. Good morning.
Good morning, Sal, Kuwait, and everybody. Kuwait is beautiful as usual, your voice. And I pray a good change will come for blacks and people in general with equality, justice, and humanity, and that we all can be protected from this virus. I just wanted to say that, I'm tired of black people. We do so much and we give so much to this country, starting with our ancestors with building this country, and a lot of nationalities benefit and profiting off of our neighborhoods by having their business in the country, in our neighborhoods. And black people, we just keep getting shortchanged. We still can't get equality and justice. And also I wanted to say about the man who said that he had sexual problems, and they said he was a customer at the spot, at the Asian spa. I'd like to know, is there sexual activities going on in those Asian spas? And also I wanted to say the guy who announced at the female basketball tournament, and he made the statement about racist statements about the black females being on their knee, and he says, of course, he's a diabetic, and his sugar was low. I'm just tired of the excuses, like you said with Nina Simone, why they can't get somebody look more like her? Why couldn't they get India Arie, anybody? And
they could have got India Arie. Yup.
Right, and I'm just tired of the lame excuses that's been happening to black people, and how we just keep getting shortchanged. And I just wanted to say about Idris Elba, I'm with Kuwait on that. I was upset. I missed him in North Philly, and I'd just be glad when that movie comes out.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much, Renee, for your call this morning on WURD. And as far as what was happening in those spas in Atlanta, Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms said, look, that as far as we know, those are legally operating businesses, and they are not on our radar for that kind of activity. That's what she said. And so, we trust the word of Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms in Atlanta, and we'll see what comes out in the investigation. I don't think we know enough facts yet. And that's the part that really got me about that police officer coming out and saying, that he's, given the murderer's side of why he did it. You don't do that until you have all the facts. Look, we're still gathering facts. We don't know yet. He talking about he had a bad day. And it turns out he was engaged in some anti-Asian activity with a T-shirt that he had posted that was anti-Asian on his social media, and encouraged others to buy the T-shirt. So he's no longer the spokesman. But again, I think we find sentiments where people are racist, and it carries out in what they do and in what they say and in how they act and how they do their jobs. And so just all of it, man, crazy. But, for me, it's rooted in racism, and, it's also rooted in misogyny. And the deep thing is that when you look at the attacks that have happened against Asian people, over the last year or so since the pandemic began, the majority are against women. Like, you that much of a punk, you going to actually, punch a woman in the face. 75-year-old woman got punched in the face somewhere out west. I forget. Kawesa, did you see that? Okay, so she's answering the phone. But yeah, 75-year-old woman got punched in the face, out west. Like, why are you doing that? And it's men doing it. I mean, I want to be clear that this is what is happening. And just, it's wrong, man. It's wrong. I don't care who it is you're doing it to. It's wrong. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That's the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are in these various things we're talking about on this morning show. Jacob from Alney's on line 3. Good morning, Jacob.
Good morning. Peace be unto you, Solomon. Man, I be trying to just listen and not call, and then you'll get into something that I just got to. Man, you was talking about how when you came up, you was with people of other, nationalities and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And it does something to you. You come up with the knowledge that, now imagine this, Solomon. I'm a 19-year-old member of the Nation of Islam, right? Mm-hmm. All white people are devils and their children, right? But before in my coming up, there was a white man, a Polish man. He was Catholic, right? Mm-hmm. Solomon, this was one of the best human beings that I've run into so far in my life, right? Because he helped my family. We were poor, and I'm saying poor with a capital P and about 4 O's before you get to the R, right? And I remember times where I used to hustle, I worked, they had an oil company around the corner from where I lived, and I used to shovel for them, hustle. We used to have a hustle because we knew to get something, we had to do a little work, right? So got to know him. Man, sometime my mother would be working because she was a single parent, raising 5 children here, right, by herself, and she would work. Sometimes she wouldn't have lunch money and car fare, and she would worry. And she just was struggling to get us something on the table to eat that night, right? And she would send me to this Michael Ben Karowski. May God bless him. And whatever she asked for, he never said no. And as I was the middle person, right, I know sometimes Mama forgot to pay him, right? Yeah. He never said no. So in my soul, even though I understood what I was being taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I respected it, that what we see them doing to us is devilish. Now, I had to say the truth to that, too. But in my soul was already put that you can't say that, because if it ain't but one good white man did not show you, that's what Allah was telling me. And he told us in the Quran, I made you different, that you learn one another, not despise. Some of these ignorant, proud boys need to learn a black person, learn an Asian person, and you'll find out that, we're the same, and you'll stop. You're ignorant because you just don't know, right? So, that was a beautiful story, Solomon, and I can relate to it because it happened to me in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
All right, I tried not to call, but Solomon, y'all got me hooked. But, I got that text, too, so,
Okay.
But, look, it's all good, man. Keep on, as Reverend Joe say, we got to keep on doing what we do, and we got to keep on getting into good trouble.
That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
All right, Jacob. Thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Gail from the Northeast on line 1. Go ahead, Gail.
Good morning, Solomon, and thank you for letting that songstress sing. That was so beautifully done, and I just think about her singing it, and I picture when Leslie Owens was doing it in One Night Miami, but Kawesa just, when we know someone and they put their spin on it, it just envelops you in just so much beauty. I'm a former teacher, retired teacher, and I used to teach in South Philadelphia.
Okay.
And when the large flux of migrants came, and they were of Asian descent, and for 31 years, I got to know mothers, fathers, children, and some of them still call me to this day. The bottom line is they knew what hate looked like. And those people, I say, when you look at that, when you see that sheriff stand up there and say, projecting information that he didn't know, his total whiteness, and saying that they were illegal. They were legally there. They have massage powers. He's just grouping them like they do black folks into these groups. And the sad part is hate is real, and it's so entrenched that some people speak and say things so condescendingly and so mildly that they don't even think. And sometimes they do think, but the more I can get on my side, the better off people, and they won't crucify this. And it's all about saving whiteness. It's all about saving whiteness. I thank you, because it just got to me looking at that, and for Keisha to have to come out and say, we don't know what's going on.
That's right.
He's sitting up there telling this fabricated story. This man just killed people, and it brings him back to...
And you telling his side of the story.
Yes. It's terrible. Thank you, Solomon.
All right. Thank you so much for your call, and you have a good day, too. Let's go to Brother Joe from Germantown online, too. Go ahead, Brother Joe.
Hey, Brother Solomon. How you doing, good brother? And Queen Quest, how you doing?
Good.
Praise be to Allah. First, let me say, Quest, I told Quest something, she outdid it. I said, Sam Cooke's spirit is pleased this morning, because she did it this morning, boy, I tell you.
Yes.
She sung that song that's moving this morning, man. I'm telling you. But you know, Brother Sal, I just want to call and critique Brother Jacob. You know, I'm a member of the Nation of Islam, and I'm a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. See, this misnomer. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said the white man was the devil. He didn't say all white people. See, we need to be, if you're going to say it, tell the whole story. He said it's good people among them. He made that clear. And matter of fact, to this day, right as we speak now, Brother Solomon, one of Minister Farrakhan's good friends in Chicago is Father Flager, who's happened to be a white Catholic priest. So while he said the white man was the devil, he said it's still among them that there is good. They are righteous and stuff. So I want to make that point clear, you know, because that's never always told when people talk about the Nation of Islam. We don't go around hating on white people. I don't wish white people no ill will. I treat white people just like I treat anybody else. I treat people the way they treat me. I have white people that I care about, male and female. But I'm going to call a spade, and I don't give a damn who don't like it. But like what happened, like the sister said before Miguel, we saw that bigot down in Georgia, that sheriff. He's a cold-blooded bigot. You know what I mean? No, you can't. Any way you can sit there and dehumanize the Asian sisters that died, but you're going to get this white creep that murdered people in cold blood. You're going to put a human face on him now, like you did with Dylan Rivers. Took him to McDonald's after he killed 9 people in the black church. Come on, man. Come on, talk to me. You know. So you know.
All right, Brother Joe. Thank you for your call this morning on WURD. We appreciate it. And if you want to get in, it's 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. We are going to go to break. On the other side, we are going to talk with Reverend Sharon Risher. She knows what it is to lose people in a mass shooting, and she has been out working on this issue, getting gun laws passed. We're going to talk with her on the other side. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Did you know that March is National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month? Colon cancer is the 3rd most diagnosed cancer in both men and women. But for African Americans, 20% are more likely to get colorectal cancer and about 40% more likely to die from it than most other groups. For more information, go to getscreened.org. That's getscreened.org. Plus, stay tuned for more information on our up-and-coming Go to Know campaign for the Word listening audience.
Okay, Her's new fire potato chips and cheese curls, they are spicy. Whew, they're hottest snacks yet, hold on. Whew, but you know, it's not just heat. There's some nice sweet and savory stuff going on too. Ooh, there's that heat again. It burns, but it burns so tasty. Ooh, that's hot. Find Her's Fire Snacks at your store today. Whew. Taste the flavor, feel the heat, break out the Her's.
The Black Words Book Club. Word Radio's new monthly conversation on books that explore the African American experience through social, economic, and environmental justice issues. Tune in the second Tuesday of every month on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. For April, Word Radio is partnering with the Free Library of Philadelphia and showcasing their pick for its annual citywide reading program, One Book, One Philadelphia, entitled The Tradition by Jericho Brown. Be sure to listen live, as Nick Taliaferro will hold a contest for a giveaway book bundle that consists of 4 titles from Kensington's Defina's Authors of Color's newest release. Don't miss it. Tuesday, April 13th on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Attention for Word members. Get your copy and receive a 20% discount when you purchase at Harriet's Bookstore or Hakeem's Bookstore. For more information on the Black Words Book Club, visit wordradio.com. The Black Words Book Club is sponsored by Defina. Defina is an imprint of Kensington Publishing Corporation, America's independent publisher, concentrating on authors of color. The WURD Radio Newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting wordradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on WURD Radio, messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, exclusive articles and multimedia content, and resources. Stay informed with the WURD Radio Newsletter. It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM.
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. Joining us now, Reverend Sharon Risher works on issues related to gun violence and also tragically lost her mother and cousins during the Charleston massacre. She joins us to talk about a couple of bills that passed focused on gun violence prevention. Reverend Risher, welcome back to the show.
Good morning, Solomon. It's so good to be with you again.
Yep. Good to have you here.
Give me a job. Yeah, I could be a guest host or something.
Something. Because we have talked to you so much and just enjoyed each and every conversation. Always get so much wisdom from you as we talk about these things. You know, as we deal with the issue of gun violence, and you see what happened in Atlanta the other day, with that mass shooting, targeting people, probably because of their race. Did that bring back memories for you?
You know what? Every time there is a mass shooting or something, I mean, even if it comes on the news, anybody that gets killed is bad and wrong and sad. But when you have these types of shootings like this, yes, it does bring back. You know, when that happened in Atlanta, my soul was hurt because I know the kind of pain and grief these families are getting ready to feel. Yeah. I feel for them as a human being, because we know that hate crimes have been around for a long time, and people refuse to understand the easy accessibility to guns.
Yeah.
Is a problem. And then when you have all these other issues of hate and I don't like you, whatever, I mean, every marginalized group of people in America have had their thing where people have targeted them for the color of their skin or religion or whatever. But it's not until we really see the problems with gun and to be able to get people in government that understand that it's not about taking anybody's gun rights away, but it's making it harder for people to get a gun. If you want a gun, you should be able to want a background check. And one of the legislation that came through the House last week through H.R. 8 and H.R. 446. It's about universal background check and the Charleston loophole. The Charleston loophole comes out of Dylan Roof being able to get his gun even though his background check was incompleted. And the law said that the seller had the right to go ahead and sell him that gun even though the background check wasn't completed.
Wow.
We later find out he wouldn't have gotten that gun. So if we had days instead of 3 days for a longer amount of time, maybe my family would be here. That little young boy in Atlanta walked into a gun store, walked out with a gun. So people want to yell about, yes, it's about race. Yes, it wasn't about no sex addiction or whatever it is that they're trying to say. It's about someone decided to kill other people in order to try to figure out what it is that he didn't like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
He's just going to go ahead and act on his feelings of what's going on, and Solomon is so much.
It is a
so
lot.
much.
And you know what's ironic to me is that, people will fight tooth and nail to make it easier for people to get guns, while at the same time fighting tooth and nail to make it harder for people to vote.
Exactly. But you see, most of the mass shootings, though, come on, and not all of them, but a lot of them have been hate crimes, and we already know. Oh, don't get me to go there, Solomon. We already know America's not about trying to save any marginalized people. It's a hate crime, whatever, okay. But until we get to a point where everybody lives matter. I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
America's got a lot to be accountable for, and because of the kind of people we've had in government lately and all, people are being emboldened to just do whatever they feel like, and most times that's with a gun.
Yeah, I agree. We're talking with Reverend Sharon Risher. She has been working on issues related to gun violence after losing her mother and other relatives in the Charleston massacre. So what do these particular gun laws do? What does H.R. 8 do?
H.R. 8 would be a mandatory federal law that every gun sale would go through a background check.
Okay.
All right, let's see. And then the Charleston, 93% of Americans support universal background check. 1 in 9 guns are purchased online, so the H.R. 8 would attach a background check to sales online. They have now these new ghost guns where you could buy them and put them together, so it would regulate people having these types of guns and buying them online. You never had to go through a background check, so the spike in buying guns online has increased. So H.R. 8 would protect that and make the online seller do a background check, which the system is overrun, but that's another show. You know what I mean?
So what about the other piece of legislation, H.R. 1446? Is that the one with the loophole?
Yeah, that's the Charleston loophole. That's the Charleston loophole, where it would extend the days to have that background check completed. Instead of having it done in 3 days, it would extend to 20 days. That means that the NICS really shouldn't have a problem with trying to get a background check done in 20 days. Maybe people like Dylan Roof, who should not have been able to get that gun, but because his background check wasn't completed in 3 days, the seller had the legal right to sell him the gun.
Wow.
Just what if? Just what if?
Mm-hmm. Now, so these have passed the House, and now they go to the Senate?
Now they go to the Senate, and we already know.
Yeah.
I hate to sound so cynical already, but past experiences have taught us that once good bills and legislation get to the Senate, there is another group of people that will block that because I don't believe these people are human. It can't be. Everything you're going to vote against, everything,
yep.
You're just going to block it? I mean, I don't know what to say, but we will keep pushing through with these legislations. We have kind of let the ball drop as a public and going forth with gun violence reform. They want to put names on it like gun control, which already is a fair factor from the NRA about getting people riled up about somebody wanting to come in their homes and take their guns.
You know what's interesting? You talked a little bit earlier about the percentage of Americans who are in favor of background checks. 93% of Americans in favor of background checks. So why don't we have them in your view?
Because we have been fed, the public has been fed the rhetoric from the NRA and people who are dead set of saying that the Second Amendment gives them these rights. And so we know that our country has now been divided into a nationalist and a far-wing kind of Christian evangelical way of understanding that are pushing and using, I believe, intimidation things to get people to really be wary of any kind of legislation concerning gun law reform. And it's not that we're asking for legislation just for black people and brown people. These things will help everybody because we know that people of color, we're not the only people that are getting killed now. Other folks are getting killed right along with everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, you know, how are you and your allies planning to push this legislation in the Senate, given that you are facing some opposition there and they have such a razor-thin Democratic majority? What's the plan?
Well, from Moms Demand Action point of view, we know that when Moms Demand Action get behind things, we push. So we have a blitz of social media presence and tweeting and getting people, constituents, to call and write into their senators from their states, asking them to vote. We're just trying to do everything we can to keep this thing out there and try to convince these senators that these bills aren't just for people of color. These bills are for people. They save lives, and we need you to let this bill pass so Biden can sign this thing into law.
All right. How do we get more information about the organization and how we can help?
Well, Moms Demand Action for Gun Safety in America is all on Facebook. You could Google and see you could text 4433 to Moms Demand Action. And from that text, they will send you a link and someone will follow up with you. Moms Demand Action is on Twitter. There are local chapters in all 50 states. You can just put in whatever state you're in, Google Moms Demand in the state, and they'll pop up and give you information. So it's very easy. There are over now 10 million people affiliated with Moms Demand Action, and we have shown when we get together for gun reform legislation, people do listen.
All right. I want to ask you one more question before we go. Given that we are still seeing these mass shootings that are driven by racism, how do we address this? You know, in your experience and as someone who has gone through this, what is the best strategy for us to address this and make it stop?
But see, you know what? We can't, because we don't know who or when. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. How do you know what's going on in the heads of people? Just, you know, you don't. Mm-hmm. But if people will just learn to get along with each other, maybe the person that has gone to the left, I don't know what side you're, a person that has gone beyond their mental capacity to make rational decisions might not think that way if you live in a world where the color of someone's skin really isn't what's important. And we already know, Solomon, we've marginalized people are just the people. That's it. Mm-hmm. So it's no, you know, how do we stop this? Well, I don't know. I mean, because we could love and be kind and sing Kumbaya all day long. But there are those people out there, no matter what you do, think the way they think.
All right. That's Reverend Sharon Risher. She's working on issues related to gun violence after tragically losing her mother and cousins during the Charleston massacre. She is supporting H.R. 8 and H.R. 1446. They are focused on gun violence prevention, and they're about to go to the Senate. If you want more information on how to help, you can go to Moms Demand Action on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook to learn more. Reverend Sharon Risher, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on WURD.
Thank you, Solomon. Thank you. Right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. So on the other side of this break, it's what's trending, and then right back to your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. It's what's trending, and then right back to your calls. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Hi, it's me, Gia Peppers. Tune in to More Than That with me live this weekend or catch the show wherever you listen to podcasts. This week, I'm talking to Kenya Barris, creator of Blackish and co-writer of the new Coming to America, as well as Judge Lynn Toller, television icon, author, and advocate. More Than That is brought to you by Bounty, Charmin, and Puffs. Visit png.com for more on their commitment to positive change. I wanted to talk to you about how you grew up. What was your actual family structure like?
For the most part, growing up I felt like a very common Black experience. I didn't really realize how much we didn't have until we moved into a more integrated community. When I was like, oh, people's knives and forks and plates match?
My mother was an emotional genius, and she was in my ear because she knew I was standing right on the edge. I could have gone either way. And she was so intuitive that it didn't happen, and she did it purposefully.
We do all we can to ensure our kids are happy, healthy, safe, and strong. Having high-quality, low-cost health insurance helps make that possible. With CHIP, your child can have medical, dental, eye care, and more for free or low cost. Whether you're self-employed, unemployed, or your employee benefits are just too expensive, CHIP is there for you to help your child be strong. CHIP Strong. Apply or renew today at 800-986-KIDS or go to chipcoverspakids.com.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
The Sweet Treat Hut is the highest rated juice bar in Philly, located on the corner of 50th and Thompson Streets, providing delicious, healthy vegan food, juices, and smoothies. Treat yourself to a cup of happiness. Call 215-877-1471.
You're waking up
with WURD.
Hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
All circuits are busy.
Here's what's trending.
Yo, that's crazy.
On Wake Up with WURD.
Jay Baker is the police captain who said that a gunman who murdered eight people at an Asian massage parlor was having a really bad day. Well, he's in some more hot water as social media posts have resurfaced where he's promoting shirts that read, COVID-19 imported virus from China. In another post, Baker wrote, place your order while they last, adding a smiley face emoji. And he says, love me, my shirt, and get yours while they last.
And Kanye West, rapper turned fashion and athletic shoe mogul, is now worth $6.6 billion with a B. The majority of West's wealth is in his apparel business. West's Yeezy sneaker partnership with Adidas and his clothing line with The Gap is worth a combined $3.2 billion to $4.7 billion. He also has $1.7 billion in other assets, including a major investment in his estranged wife, Kim Kardashian's Skims shapewear line.
And Sean Ewing, the mother of Kirk Franklin's estranged son, is speaking out after her son released audio and accused Kirk Franklin of abuse. According to Sean, Carrion has been a troubled child. She continued, I'm not saying that my son is not hurting from us being teenage parents. I'm not saying my son doesn't have a testimony. What I am saying is that you were not abandoned. No one advocated their responsibility towards you. You are loved, Carrion Franklin. And that is what's trending.
All right, so that's what's trending right here on WURD Radio. We want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. You can also hit us on Facebook at FORWURD. That's FORWURD. Kawesa, what are they saying this morning on Facebook?
So just pulling it up here now. Oh, it comes up. There we go. Raymond Mitchell says, good morning, WURD family. Another great show. Have a spectacular weekend, Solomon. I'm sure you'll hook a sister up for her day. God bless. That's reference to Miss Levita's birthday tomorrow. Flo HB saying, good morning, WURD Radio. So good morning right back at you. And Diane Facet and Samson Muhammad, good morning to you as well. Gloria Gainey, also good morning to you as well. Deborah Dorn Carter says, Solomon, we support this economy immensely in the U.S. There's a lot of spending power. We have to learn to use it to our advantage. As far as that teller denying the customer her own money, then close my account out and tell the bank manager you just lost a customer. Then put in a complaint with the bank president. I do have compassion for other ethnic groups, but what happened to the Asians has happened to our black people for centuries. So that's another comment. Leroy Jordan, good morning to you as well. He is saying, hey, Solomon, thanks always. So that's another comment. Phyllis Williams says, I can't believe he used the excuse, quote, he had a bad day. So he used his bad day to shoot and kill people. Look at all the horrible days ahead for those who lost their loved ones. Suppose they use their bad days to do the same. So sad. So that's another comment. And then Veronica Smith says, good morning, WURD family. Blessings to all. Be safe and enjoy your weekend. Trying to peer over my shoulder over at the YouTube. Gary Thomas saying, yes, beautiful song. Robert Singleton, that's my cousin, by the way.
Okay.
Says, great pick, cuz, beautifully done. I remember the past calls for change, and now we have returned to the same. Thanks for that rendition. And then he, somebody else said here, trying to pull it up. Nope, I'm not going to read those because that's a weird comment. Joanne Kemp saying, in addition to our patronage of the Asian businesses, if it wasn't for our civil rights activity over the years, they may have not been able to have some benefits or rights as well. So those are some other comments that we have on YouTube. So thanks for those comments as well.
All right. So if you want to get through on the phone lines, please give us a call at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. You know, I'm looking at the whole Kanye story. I saw that yesterday and was like, wow, brother doing well financially. Thank God they had a prenup.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for both of them too, because I mean, you know, she had her money as well.
That's right.
But you know, and they already, just because of the fact that they live together, they still have to split up assets and things like that. So I mean, you even with the prenup, you're still not gonna come out of there fully unscathed. So yeah, it's definitely good that he has a prenup. But I think I read an article that, you know, because I think last year, the year before, you know, he had just made the billionaire list. So now it's, you know, 6 times over, you know, that he's making this money. So. Good for Kanye. He might be a little crazy, but he ain't stupid. Yeah. He know how to make his money. You know,
not at all. Not at all. So, and you know, it takes money to make money. You know what I mean?
Right.
You start getting into those billions, then it's easy to start flipping that money because you're making passive income now. You just sitting there and your money's just making money.
Just growing.
So, man, 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on today's show, including our top 3 stories, which are story number 1, the U.S. may be on the cusp of another COVID-19 case surge, one expert says, but the mass vaccination of the most vulnerable Americans is likely to limit its human cost. Story number 2, a black woman who's president and founder of the Connecticut Parents Union says she was recently denied a withdrawal of just over $1,000 from a business account she holds at TD Bank because a teller at a branch in the Southington, Connecticut, simply decided she wasn't going to give it to her. Racism. Story number 3, I've learned a lot about racism in the last 4 years. That's why when a white man killed 6 Asian women and 2 others in what looks like a hate crime, I was not surprised. And you know, maybe this is a moment for blacks and Asians to check our own racial tensions. And as we mourn those we've lost, we can finally look at each other honestly and try to stand together on common ground. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Speaking of what happened in Atlanta, so this Jay Baker, this police captain, racist. You trying to sell COVID-19 imported virus from China, and you on Facebook trying to sell T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
You're a racist, and then you wonder why he said what he said. That stupidity that he stood up there and said the other day.
Yeah, stone cold racist. I mean, and really, if you look back to last year when these posts, you know, when he put these posts out there, part of me wonders if he was projecting his own ideologies and mindsets into, you know, what he was saying. So, stone cold racist.
Wow. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. And it makes me think about what Reverend Risher said about, you know, stopping these racist attacks, you know, these mass shootings that are based on race. She said you can't stop all of them because you don't know who they are. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they're thinking. You don't know what, you know what I mean? And she's right, because here, this guy, you know, you the police captain, you the spokesman for the police, and you get up and you give the murderer's point of view before an investigation has even been done. Talking about, oh, well, he was just having a bad day and he had a sexual addiction. So now what you have done is you have smeared these businesses, right? And said that somehow something sexual is going on in these businesses. Well, you know, have you done any investigation? And if you knew that, why didn't you shut the businesses down before this happened? You know, it's just a lot. It's a lot. You know what I mean? For him to get up and actually say that and it turns out all of it grounded in racism. Reverend Leroy from Germantown's on line 1. Good morning.
It is a good morning. I agree with you. Praying for you. Praying with you.
Thank you.
All right. And I'm impressed. I'm impressed with Kawesa, you know, her singing, a choice of music, for one, for a young woman. You know, her choice of music, her courage to stand there and sing flat-footed, you know, and her voice. You know, I'm just impressed with everything about her. She's special. And like somebody said earlier, you know, need to keep a cover on her, you know, and pray her protection, a hedge of protection around her. Because, you know, there's stuff out there. It's a lot of stupid people, including the police chief. And some of the things we see that haven't been investigated, a lot of these guys look a lot alike. Dylan Roof and this guy in Atlanta, you know, and the guy doing the murders in California and doing, they all kind of resemble some, you know, they have some tendencies that resemble each other to me, you know. And we shouldn't have to say, you know, one of my best friends is an Asian. I agree with you. You know, if you have experiences with folks, you realize that all Asians aren't a monolith, that, you know, many of them are friends of mine, you know, and I take flack when I say Helen Gim is a friend of mine. And she's a friend of mine because we did some work around the school district and almost went to jail getting some money from the parking authority, you know, so she's a friend. And I shouldn't have to just say that because evil anywhere is evil everywhere.
How about that?
And that murder, that mass murder anywhere is mass murder everywhere. And so we shouldn't have to defend anybody who gets killed by somebody who is insane or evil. Is that making sense?
No, it absolutely makes sense. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know,
and I want to thank you for sharing it.
Okay.
All right. All right. Reverend Leroy, we appreciate it. Always great to hear from you. Steve from South Philly is on line 3. Go ahead, Steve.
Yes, this is Steve from South Philly. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. Listen, what I think we could have a discussion, another discussion on the 2 million people, 2 million Muslims in China that they have in detention centers. We also need to discuss how Africans were thrown out of China when this COVID thing first started. Africans were thrown out and evicted. And the last question is, how many Asians do you think thought it was crazy or racist in 1978 and May 13th, 1985, when they dropped the bomb on Move?
How many Asians do I think it was crazy and racist? That it was crazy and racist? You know, I don't, you know what? Here's the thing, and I want to thank you for your call. I think that, you know, when we get into whataboutism, you know what I mean, then it makes the conversation about something else entirely. I think we got to deal with a lot of those things. But I think one of the things we have to realize is that China is not the only Asian country, right? Nor is Korea. There are Japanese. There are Vietnamese. There are Cambodian. There's South Asian, right? India and Pakistan. And so, you know, you can talk about what they are doing in China. I think a lot of that is certainly political in nature, certainly prejudice in nature as well. But, you know, that's not the only place where Asian people live. Just got to be honest with you. And the other thing is, I'm really at this point more concerned about what's happening here in America than I am about what's happening in China. I can't have any impact on what's happening in China, but you know what? I can impact what happens here. Let's go to Ann from North Philly on line 4. Go ahead, Ann.
Yes, hello, Simon. This morning I seen on the news where a lot of people were trying to get the freedom here in the United States, and they were trying to cross the river. And this gentleman was taking pictures, and the patrol van was there, and he was hollering for help, and to make it short, no one got out of that patrol car to come help those people. And he showed where all he had was a fishing rod, and he threw the fishing, rod out in there, and a child, caught hold to it. He managed to pull that child to safety. But that was something to see. I said, we so insensitive to people. This human life, period. All the rest of the people, you see them drowning in the water, being washed away. And they never got out of their truck or call for help for those individuals.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that, and I want to thank you for sharing that this morning. I do want to leave on an up note. Kawesa, thank you so much for singing A Change Gonna Come, because we need that this morning. I want to thank everybody who tuned in on today's show. I want to thank all of our guests, activist Reverend Sharon Risher, financial consultant Akbar Hassan, of course, Taylor Allen from Plan Philly, and the wonderful Kawesa Mathis for blessing us with a song this morning. And now, for everyone here at WURD Radio, including super producer Kawesa Mathis, I am your host, Solomon Jones. Thanks. Stay tuned for The Source with guest host Kayla J. And tune in Monday at 7 for more Wake Up with Word. Peace.